heal faster. That's why Starlight Children's Foundation is dedicated to improving the mental well-being of sick kids. Being in a hospital facing painful treatments takes away from the happiness of childhood. But that's where Starlight comes in. We provide entertainment, comfort, and distraction through Starlight gaming, hospital gowns, and toy deliveries to bring smiles to over 800 hospitals. Starlight programs are what happiness is made of. Learn more at starlight.org.
Is your eyesight changing?
I can't read this anymore.
Don't lose hope. People just like you are working every day using Braille, screen magnification, speech technology, and other tools and blindness skills. Your eyesight may have changed, but your goals, they don't have to. We can help. Visit us on the web at blind.org. The National Federation of the Blind. Live the life you want.
Corey and Zach lingered in foster care for years, longing for a permanent place to call home. They lost hope.
I felt alone in the world. I didn't feel loved. Every day felt like a lost cause. I thought, who would want to adopt an older child?
I thought, I'm going to end up on the streets. That's just how it's going to be.
Thankfully, Corey and Zach's journey changed when they were adopted with help from the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption.
It's really difficult to wonder how you're going to make it. I'm not going to have that problem now. I just won't. Because I have a family.
Today, Corey and Zach have bright futures. But every year, thousands of youth age out of foster care with no permanent family and no safety net. Learn more at davethomasfoundation.org.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
And Barnes hits one high. It's a deep. It is out of here. Morant. Oh! A jawbreaker.
It's time to get up and get your day started. It's Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Diggs! Sideline! Touchdown! Unbelievable!
Here are your hosts, Greg and Eli.
Good morning, everyone. Happy hump day to you. Welcome into Sports 56 Mornings on this Wednesday, September 13th, 2023. Man, nearly halfway through the month of September. Time is flying. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd with you from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, it's where family and fun come together. The world's biggest spa sale continues out at 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Very conveniently located to anywhere in the metropolitan Memphis area. Currently 69 degrees as you get your Wednesday going. Cloudy skies. Looks like today will be another beautiful day with a high of only 82. Love to see that. Low tonight of 64 with a chance of rain of at about 40%. Tomorrow partly cloudy with a high of 83, and the weather for tomorrow night's Memphis Navy game should be absolutely spectacular. Coming up on the show today, speaking of Memphis Navy, the stadium issue, we're going to talk with our good friend Doc Holliday from Action News 5. That'll be at 8:05 today. At 8:25, we'll talk college football in general with Jerry Palm from CBS Sports. At 9:05, we turn our attention to the Grizzlies and the NBA with DeMichael Cole from the Commercial Appeal. We're just a few weeks away from camp opening up around the NBA, including here in Memphis with the Grizzlies. And then at about 9:30, we'll do five favorite things. And this week's topic is your 5 favorite game show hosts, your 5 favorite television game show hosts of all time. Get your lists in. You can do it now. You can do it a little bit later, but make sure it's in by 9:30-ish. 901-360-8255. You can text in your lists. You can send them via Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Send them right to our website, sportsmemphis.com. If you're sending them to Twitter, you can send them to Eli specifically at Eli560 or myself at Greg_Gaston. We got a lot to get to on the program today, including news from the National Football League and a new arena that's going to be built in the NBA. Not here in Memphis, not a new arena, but a new arena somewhere in one of these smaller markets that we will discuss and how that's being financed. That's all coming up on the program today. Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing today?
I am fantastic.
I'm not.
You're not fantastic?
No, I'm not fantastic today.
And I shouldn't say I'm fantastic. I got a little bit of a little stuffiness today, but I feel okay. So now maybe I'll bring it back a little bit from fantastic to pretty good. But you're not fantastic. You're usually fantastic. So what's the problem?
Yeah, I just Cubs lost to the Rockies last night, and I've realized they're not going to win the division now. Now we're going to have to settle for a wild card. Going to have to hold on to the wild card. Can't lose to the Rockies. Rockies are 40 games under 500, and it was Chris Bryant who beat them. Had a home run, 3 runs batted in.
The ex-Cubby.
It was a. Last night made me angry with them losing that game to the Rockies, and having Chris Bryant be the one.
So all of a sudden now, after the start the Cubs got off to, you talked about trading Bellinger and a couple of guys at the break, and now all of a sudden you're buying into like they're the greatest thing since sliced bread? You're going to lose games. You're the Cubs.
I didn't. In order to win the division, they can't lose to the Rockies.
I understand.
If they lost to the Rockies, they're not going to win the division.
But you know what? Maybe they're not good enough to win the division.
They are not.
But they're in the postseason right now, and it looks like they'll be in the postseason when it counts at the end of the regular season, and that's good because you weren't singing that tune a few months ago.
Well, there's after losing 3 out of 4 to the Diamondbacks and now losing a game to the Rockies,
reality is setting in.
They still got 3 more against the Diamondbacks. If Diamondbacks were to beat up on them out in Arizona, the Cubs could be out of the postseason.
Hunter Goodman, our good friend, only a couple of pinch hitting appearances the last couple of games. He hasn't started the last few games. He had an RBI pinch hit double 2 games ago, and the last night he went 0 for 1. He struck out as a pinch hitter. Zach Boyd, how are you this morning, man?
I'm cool.
You're cool. So he's not fantastic. I kind of rolled back from being fantastic, but you're just cool.
Yeah, just chilling.
Just chilling. Chilling on a, I don't want to say chilly morning, but it feels good out there, doesn't it?
Oh, the weather feels amazing, man.
Thursday night's going to be so nice. We had Laird Beach on, as you know, yesterday for the folks who listen to our show regularly. And it's always great to talk to Laird. And correct me if I'm wrong. When I asked him, or maybe you asked him about the ticket sales so far for Navy, didn't he say something like, yeah, we're kind of like on target for basically game 1, what we had game 1? Mm-hmm. Didn't he say that?
Yes.
And I'm thinking to myself, that's not good. It needs to be much better than game 1. And I know game 1
it won't be.
I know game 1 was announced at about 25 and change. I thought it was close to that just from visual, down on the field looking around. Some people said that it wasn't. Look, I thought it was a little bit better than what they said it was going to be, but I didn't think it was great. I think if it's less than 30, it's not good. And maybe I hold the University of Memphis and Memphis Tigers fans to a higher standard. I understand it's a cavernous stadium that seats about 60,000. I understand that. You're not going to fill that thing unless you're playing a big-time opponent or it's a huge game, a championship game in the conference or what have you. But Thursday night, I understand school the next day. I understand work for a lot of people. It's a 6:30 kickoff. The weather's great. You don't have to stay the whole game. The tickets are cheap. I hope. And it's Navy, the pomp and the circumstance, all the stops they're pulling out for that game. As I always say, I'm not going to tell you what to do with your money. That your disposable income is up to you and only you. And you may want to kick back and just watch it on television. As Laird was talking about yesterday, that's the biggest option for people. It's a nationally televised game on ESPN. You don't have to leave the comfort of your living room to watch the game. But if you are Tigers fans, if you support the Tigers in this community, if you have been rooted now in Memphis, but you come from somewhere else, but you're trying to become a really part of the community, tickets are cheap, weather's beautiful. Hopefully they can get 30,000 people.
I would say good luck on a Thursday night.
Honor the United States of America. Honor the Naval Academy. They go out there and beat their tails, but honor them.
Now, I got a question. So if if you're a student at the U of M and you are, I guess, wanting to join the Navy, do you have to enroll in the Navy to do so? Or can you still be a student at the U of M to become a Navy?
Well, not a member of, like, you can't be enrolled at the Naval Academy. I mean, that's obviously, you can't, that's not just a volunteer thing, right? You're picked for that. But if you want to join the armed forces, you can do that. And a lot of people at the University of Memphis, not a lot of people, some people are members of the ROTC.
Yeah, you got the ROTC and stuff like that you could do while you're at the University of Memphis. But if you join the Navy, like if you're going to, like you're not going to be a student at the University of Memphis at the same time.
Right.
You're going to boot camp and you're enlisted.
Yeah, again, you can
do
join
ROTC, anything like that.
Yeah, you can join the armed forces, you can join the ROTC, but if you're going to be a undergrad at the Naval Academy or the Air Force Academy or Army, they are special people that have earned their way there. That you just can't volunteer and say, I want to go to Annapolis. You just can't do that. But there will be youngsters. I say youngsters, young men and women who will be given their, they'll do the pledge.
Be sworn in
to, I guess, ROTC.
No, I think that's a swearing in ceremony for the Navy.
Officially for the Navy.
Right.
That'll happen tomorrow. So that's going to be one of the extra things that will be happening. As I said, they've pulled out all stops. There's a lot of things that will go that coincide with the actual game to make it very appealing for the fans. That's why I say this is unique. This is a different kind of football atmosphere when they play Navy. The whole deal at the end when they go over to each other's benches or sidelines and they sing the alma mater and the visiting team respects what Navy's all about. And Navy does the same thing for their opponent. If you haven't seen it, it's really cool to see it up close and personal. So if you go to the game and you can stay the entire game, even through the final seconds, stay around to see how they do that at the very end. But again, I hope it's a really good crowd. The other thing is, and we've been talking about this for years and complaining about this for years, that it's unfortunate the television cameras face the visiting side of Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. And you're going to have more people in the lower bowl on the home side. So you will see empty seats on TV. We know where the cameras are facing around here. I don't think people around the country understand that. So when they see that, they're going to see empty seats and they're going to think there's just no support. And that is not true. I hate that. I've always hated that. When they do the renovations, they're going to flip it. And the cameras will be on the other side facing the home side. That's the way it's always should have been. I'm just surprised that they weren't able to do anything, even though the Showboats in their first year in Memphis put the cameras on that side.
Yes, because they didn't have any fans over there.
Right.
They had the cameras in the stands over there.
But at least they did the right thing. They faced the home side of the field, and that should always be the case. It's different if it's a 25,000-seat stadium and you're probably going to get it close to capacity. When it's a cavernous valley, which is Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, and you're not playing a big SEC opponent or a big national opponent, you're going to have a lot of empty seats, unfortunately, and you hate that the cameras are facing that way.
If you'd like to go to the game tomorrow night and you do not have tickets, I have a 4-pack of tickets that I will give to caller number 4. 360-8255, 360-8255. Caller number 4, 4 for 4. 4 tickets for caller number 4 for tomorrow night's game between the Tigers and Navy. 901-360-8255. Again, caller number 4. 4 tickets for tomorrow night's game.
So the stadium issue, which we talked about with Laird yesterday, and if you missed that interview, just go to our website, sportsmemphis.com. Should be up on featured audio. You could also check out the Sports 56 Mornings podcast. We had Laird on in hour number 2. It is a topic and subject that is causing a lot of tension. Not so much outwardly from the university. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just sports fans. If you are on social media, it's getting a little contentious. And I don't understand. We do have our winner. Thank you very much. Are we going to give away a little bit more later today or tomorrow, or what are we doing?
We've got some more that we'll give away.
Okay. So it's getting contentious as there are pro-Memphis, simply pro-Memphis, and then some that are simply pro-Grizzlies, even though we know there's a lot of combination that people support both. I don't understand why this has become as contentious as it is. I don't think people understand the importance of the NBA team here in this city. It is hugely important. It is a shame that there hasn't been any conclusion yet, confirmation on how the money from the state is being broken down. But I think everybody should know the pecking order. And the Grizzlies are concerned about their arena. It's not that they don't care about the university or care about the city. They do, but there's priorities, and it's first things first. Now, I understand the plight of the University of Memphis as they sit and they wait and they wonder when the money is going to be available, how much of the money is going to be available, and how much money are they going to have to raise themselves to make sure that the renovations are similar to the specs we saw. We saw what it's supposed to look like. They don't want to back down from that. They don't want a project that they estimate to be $150 to $200 million in cost to be something where they can only throw $75 million at it and not come close to what they want to get. So that right now is the dilemma. But I don't understand why it's got to be fisticuffs between some fans. I don't mean that literally, but just going at it. It's crazy to me. I think when it's all said and done, the Grizzlies will be happy with what's going to happen to FedEx Forum, which, of course, the University of Memphis is a tenant for basketball, men's basketball. And I think in the end that you're going to love what happens to Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. Now, as far as the soccer stadium, more renovations to AutoZone Park, I don't know about that one. I don't know. I'm a little suspect about that. But I think in the end, those two major projects will be completed and people will be happy. It's just very contentious now because we are getting closer to the actual start of demolition, if you will, and the refurbishment, which will be right after the AutoZone Liberty Bowl game. But as Laird said yesterday, that if there is a delay, there could be a delay in the start of the construction. And that's what you do not want. You do not want any delays.
Yeah, I mean, Laird said yesterday when I asked him point blank, like, do you believe that you'll be able to get what you want out of Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium? And again, it may not be what they originally designed. And as he said, he's gone through a lot of these projects. And you start with a vision, and as things go along, there are changes that are made because of one reason or another. But he said that they fully believe that they will be able to do something that is completely satisfactory to them with Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. And so if he continues to say that, I don't know why you would doubt that. They feel good about it. From what I understand, the Grizzlies, I think by the end of this month, should have theirs all figured out as far as all priced out, everything else of what they're going to do. So we'll have more answers when they are finally done with that. But there's a lot to figure out when you're trying to price this stuff out and get everything figured out as far as what money, and then they can work from there. People are going to argue about stuff they're going to try and pit this as Grizzlies versus Tigers.
That's what they're doing.
But it cracks me up because they act as if the Tigers don't benefit at all from the FedEx Forum renovations. From a university perspective, other universities, when they want to renovate their stadium, they have to go raise all the money themselves, and they do it. That's what they do. Here, you're getting both of your major arenas refurbished And right now, for all the Tiger fans, they want to do it at a zero cost to the Tigers.
Well, the argument would be you don't own either one of those.
I know, but you get to, okay, well, you're just a tenant. You know what other people say? Well, then fine. Go build your own stadium on campus. See how much that costs you.
Sure.
See if the city's going to pay for that. They're not. So when you're getting everything for free, people are going to be like, why are you complaining? Like, you're getting both of your stadiums renovated for free. If you have to kick in a little bit of money, you should complain. If any of the others want to do it, they got to go raise $100 million to renovate their stadium.
Right, and Laird said they're willing to do that. They're willing to kick in money, and that's why the wheels are in motion about how they can do that. It hasn't been easy to raise collateral for sports projects within the university, but that's exactly what they're doing. You need the donations. You need the Bill Lorries of this world to donate the money like they did for the Laurie Walton basketball facility. You know, will the well run dry when you're out there trying to add? Because, again, you don't want to take a huge step back from what the vision was originally. Like you said, the vision alters, it changes. The Grizzlies have gone through a million designs trying to figure out what they want to do. So that's going to happen. But you do not want to you don't want to put something out there that you're not ecstatic about, and that in several more years you're going to probably have to raise more money to complete the project. You want to be extremely happy with what you do, and you don't have to do it for a long, long time after that.
Yeah, and that's exactly why the Grizzlies are taking a lot of time. You get one chance. Like, you're not gonna redo this again in 3 years. So you want to make sure that it is the whole thing is maximizing the space to make the most money out of it. And in both places, a lot of that is going to be, as Laird talked about, it's the suites, things like that. Like that's what now
that's your moneymaker.
Any sports arena, you have to maximize those types of things. And so that's the number one thing. And the Grizzlies are looking at that, and the people who say, the Grizzlies just need to make more seats in the lower bowl. That isn't that they want to make sure that they have as much suite space and everything else, and seats that you can sell at a premium price. That's it. Premium seating. That's the number one thing in all of this stuff. But you also have to be able to sell it. Like, you can create as much premium seating as you want. If you can't sell it, who the hell cares? You have to know you're going to sell it. Right now, the Grizzlies are in a good spot in selling it. But in 10 years, are they going to be in a good spot to be able to sell all of that premium seating or not, and stuff like that? So you're trying to balance all of these various things of, like, how can we maximize every inch of that building to bring in the most money that we can? And the same thing is going to be done at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. How are we going to maximize this? But in Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, it's a little weird, because if it was just the Tigers, well, they don't need 60,000 seats. So you would say, okay, we can eliminate a bunch of seats and create more premium. But then you also have the Autos of Liberty Bowl, who says, well, we need 60,000 or 50,000 or a certain amount of seats. And the Southern Heritage Classic, who wants a certain amount of seats. So you're trying to make everybody happy as far as that is concerned. There's a lot that goes into it.
The interesting part will be on the flip side with premium seating. Obviously, for Grizzlies games, the ticket is a lot more expensive than a Memphis men's basketball game. However, because of the money put into it, because of probably more seats in the lower bowl than in the upper bowl, will it make it tougher economically for the average Joe Memphis Tiger fan to go to a game?
Well, I mean, the Tigers do it. You have to do the donation and all that stuff for the. I don't know how they exactly do it all as far as that is concerned, but the lower bowl. But again, there's not going to be a bunch of seats added to the lower bowl. Like, that's not it. There may be a few more, but there's not going to be a bunch of seats added to the lower bowl.
So they'll continue to have more in the upper deck? I thought that was one of the biggest problems they had.
But again, that's what everybody looks at. Oh, they just got to do this. Well, no, because that eliminates suites and things like that. They don't want to do that.
Okay. So,
I mean, right behind the lower bowl is suites. They're not going to eliminate a bunch of suites. Again, they're doing some stuff, from what I understand, to increase a little bit, but it's not going to be much. They're going to lose. Overall, they're going to lose seats in the building. There's going to be less seats total in the building. Mm-hmm. How many of those are coming from the upper bowl? I'm not sure as far as that is concerned. I know they are losing some in the upper bowl. I don't know what the breakdowns again will end up being, but there will be more seats still in the upper bowl than lower bowl.
If you missed it yesterday, it was announced that Oklahoma City has finalized plans to build a new downtown arena. So not a renovated arena in which they currently play in, a new downtown arena. It's conditional on a 1 cent sales tax by the Oklahoma City voters. They'll vote on December 12th. And there'll be a 25-year commitment from the team to stay in Oklahoma City. The minimum cost for a new downtown arena, they say, is $900 million. I expect that to go north of that. So the question is, and it's always been since this project was announced with state funding, how much is Robert Pera going to kick in? The Oklahoma City ownership group, according to the story, is kicking in $50 million. That's a lot of money to you and me. For them, I'm not sure. It sounds like chump change, but it's something. It's $50 million according to the story. We haven't heard word one about whether or not Robert Pera is willing to kick in money for the renovations. Not a new arena, but the renovations of FedEx Forum.
Yeah, I don't think he has plans right now. Again, now maybe once they have it completely priced out, and if there is a need maybe of some sort to come up with some of that, he will. I mean, they're putting in $50 million out of what will probably end up being a $1 billion project. So that is a very small portion.
Right.
I mean, that is
right.
The Grizzlies aren't doing a $1 billion project. They're doing it now. It could be $500 million, and so
it will be $500 million.
And so on that, if you went on that, that would be okay. Well, to try and match that, $25 million. But I don't know. Until they get it all priced out and know exactly where they are price-wise, I don't know that there's any thought whatsoever, and I don't know that Robert Pera has any plans to put in any money towards this project.
I think it's more the thought. $50 million, again, may be a drop in the bucket for billionaires, but it's something. And I think people are waiting to see the hermit come out and say, listen, I'm going to throw in $50 million, $25 million, whatever it is. I don't even think that matters. I think the fact that if he does it, then you go, okay, thanks. Every little bit helps. But if you sit there on your throne and say, I'm not giving anything, this is on the city. We're staying here, so you give us everything you have at the expense of anybody else or everybody else, then that's when you get mad as a city at an ownership group. Just throw in a little bit and you feel pretty good about that ownership group, no matter whether it's a drop in the bucket for them or not. All right, we'll take a timeout. When we come back, we continue here on Sports 56 Mornings talking a little more NBA and an interesting list for the 23-24 season from CBS Sports. Kevin Porter Jr. in big-time trouble. We will discuss that. We got some Major League Baseball to get into as well. We opened up the Sports 56 listener lines to you. You can call in or text in at 901-360-8255. We'll talk some NFL, the latest with the Jets. What are they going to do with their quarterback situation? It's all coming up as we continue here on Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
We interrupt this broadcast for special news and information concerning family leisure.
The world's biggest spa sale is back and bigger than ever at Family Leisure. How is that possible? Well, let me tell you. You start off with 50 different spa models to choose from 5 different manufacturers. Then you throw in up to 30% off in-stock spas and swim spas. But is that all? Oh, no. You get free upgrades on all in-stock spas, plus 24 months, same as cash. Wow! This is the kind of sale that you just can't have every day. But it's happening right now at Family Leisure, the world's biggest spa sale. Soak in the savings right now at Family Leisure, Witten Road and I-40. You know the place where family and fun come together.
Please remain calm and walk. Don't run to Family Leisure. And now back to your regular programming.
All the things you love about Mercedes-Benz, the style, the comfort, the tech, the superb attention to detail are now available in electric. A full portfolio of all electric models, each one built to Mercedes' rigorous standards, available now at your local Mercedes-Benz dealer. The super versatile EQB with seating up to 7 people. The brilliantly intelligent EQE SUV, loaded with a stunning array of next-generation tech. The inspired EQE with its next-level comfort settings. The electric sedan that recharges you. The boundlessly capable EQS SUV takes electric to places it's never been before. And the magnificent EQS with an available 56-inch hyperscreen. It's the flagship vehicle of not just Mercedes EVs, but all EVs. The vehicles are all electric. The feeling is all Mercedes. The choice is all yours. Test drive a Mercedes-Benz electric model today at your local dealer or learn more at MBUSA.com/EQ.
Country music singer-songwriter Kylie Morgan absolutely loves her Genesis diamond ring.
I got so many compliments as soon as I got the ring and continue to get compliments on it because it looks really pretty on my finger.
Kylie's husband Jay heard folks in the music industry raving about Genesis, but he also did a lot of homework on his own.
When it came to finding the ring, he took it very seriously. He did all the research. I think he knows more about diamonds than any man in the entire world, and that's how he landed on Genesis. He just knew that they were the best.
Jay picked out a stunning, flawless, pear-shaped diamond in an elegant setting. Got the value price Genesis is known for. And now they both tell everyone they meet about the amazing Genesis experience.
When you walk into Genesis, you can just feel the happiness. You know that they're helping find something that symbolizes the love that you have for your partner, and you can feel that as soon as you walk through the door.
It's always been you, and I've always been your wife.
Genesis Diamonds at Poplar and Perkins Extended.
Get ready for the NFL season with incredible offers from FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Right now, new customers can bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Plus, all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Now is the best time to join FanDuel. The app is easy to use. You can bet on everything from spreads to player props and more. So visit FanDuel.com/win and kick off the NFL season with an offer you won't want to miss. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
21 plus and present in Tennessee. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call TN Redline 1-800-889-9789.
NFL Sunday Ticket offer ends 9/18/23. No refunds. Terms and embargoes apply. $100 off NFL Sunday Ticket, not YouTube TV. YouTube TV base plan required to watch YouTube TV. Redemption requires a Google account and current form of payment. Commercial use excluded. Subscription renews. Cancel anytime.
Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Choate's is offering some amazing specials for this month only. If you're considering upgrading your furnace before the cold weather comes, Choate's is offering $1,000 off a new Carrier furnace. If you don't need a new furnace, Choate's is now offering its early bird $60 furnace tune-up. This 22-point tune-up includes a free carbon monoxide test and heat exchanger inspection. And Choate's is your indoor air quality expert. For the best quality air for you and your family, it's recommended to have your air ducts cleaned every 8 years. This month only, Choate's will install a free UV light system when you get your air ducts cleaned, a $500 value. Call us at 347-8086 to take advantage of these amazing deals. So, turn to the experts with Choate's, and remember, let our family serve your family.
Jenkins Floors and More in Hernando is growing. This family business started up 5 years ago with just one pallet, and now they have hundreds. Tim, the owner, gets calls from people everywhere and can sometimes save them up to 50% on wood flooring, carpet, tile, and vinyl. Jenkins Floors and More helps with renovations, home building, and installation. Jenkins Floors and More, number 6 East Commerce Street in Hernando. Also in Little Rock and coming soon to Tennessee. Call 662-469-9350 for more information.
Sports 56 traffic.
Got a handful of accidents this morning. I-40 East at Warford. The right 2 lanes are blocked. That's I-40 East at Warford. Overturned truck. The right 2 lanes are blocked there. Accident on I-40 West at I-240 Sam Cooper. The right shoulder is blocked there. So just keep that in mind if you're using the north leg of I-40. A couple of accidents on either side of the interstate. This is your Sports 56 traffic update.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Morning.
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 7:33 is the time. Make sure to get your lists in for your 5 favorite game show hosts of all time. That's TV game show hosts. 360-8255. Text it in or send it to us via Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, or to the website sportsmemphis.com. We've been talking about the arena issue. It's become very contentious between Grizzlies fans and Tigers fans. Many of them, fans of sports here in general in the city, are fans of both and are hoping that things will go a little smoother than the discussions that have been going on for several months. I'm talking about the public discussions. But it is interesting. We're getting close to having an election for a new mayor. We know that this has been one of Mayor Strickland's babies. This whole stadium issue went out, and they were able to get the state to give that commitment financially to these projects here in the city. But as we wait to see what the Grizzlies want to do, it is extremely anxious for everyone to find out what's going on, because in the end, how much money will be left? There's going to be money, but how much money will be left for Simmons Bank Stadium to get what they need to complete that renovation as to their vision? What you don't want to do is half-heartedly, because of finances, not put your best foot forward. And if that is not the case, where they don't have the amount of money that they're hoping to have, which doesn't look likely right now, but who knows, can they go out there and can they do enough out there to have people donate to the cause, to want to renovate that stadium? Because that is not easy to give those donations up. You're trying to, as a university, raise money for on-campus projects, including eventually the Park Avenue, South Avenue dorms that they'll have for the mostly for the student athletes, but also for regular students as well. There's other projects that cost a lot of money. Of course, indirectly, not the school itself, but they're trying to get NIL money for athletes, and now you're talking about the possibility of having to raise money from donors to offset the project costs for the stadium.
Yeah, but a lot, as Laird Veach said yesterday, like that's going to be a lot of that is going to be like, okay, these renovations create these premium seating things. Like we could put some of that money we can go then towards paying this off. Like we got extra money coming in because you've created these other things. Those that we can take some of those dollars towards funding the whole thing. It's not like just going out and asking, we need $100 million, everybody. It's going to be part of the ticket sales and stuff from the renovations that allow you to pay that back.
If you can sell those premium seats, those suites that would be built at the stadium, if you can do that. Remember, at FedEx Forum, right, you have, as you just talked about, what's the vision of the Grizzlies. But we know what there is right now as far as suites are concerned. You go to a Grizzlies game and most, if not all, the suites are sold. And you see people in every...
Their suites are basically sold out. That's why they don't want to get rid of them, but they're sold out.
Go to a Tigers game and see how many of those suites are dark.
I know, but those are owned by the same... Like the people that own the suites get them... Pretty much all of those suites are owned forever for the Tigers and Grizzlies.
Oh, are they?
Yes.
Okay, so
Tigers... just people are choosing not to go to the Tiger game that own the suite.
Okay. I always wondered whether or not that was sold separately for Tigers
all
games.
of them are, but most of those you own them for every event in the arena, concerts, everything. Like that is your suite for any event that's held in that arena.
Gotcha. 360-8255. Mike is dialed in on the arena issue. Mike, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Suites are out in the NBA. They're not a big deal anymore. That's why they're redoing what they're doing to the facility now. They want more seats they can sell.
No,
and not group sales. That's what they're doing up in Indiana.
Like their suites are sold out, basically.
I
for
know
Grizzlies.
they're sold out, but they think they can make more money without as many suites.
No, they
Check
don't.
it
They
out.
don't because
That's
they're
a fact.
they're trying to make sure they keep all of the
And
suites.
let me say another thing. You keep saying $350 million. With these other revenues, the total is $680 million. That's the figure.
That's
now,
what the
if
mayor.
you should
That was
do
his big
something,
ask.
You
Yes.
go back up to the state and say, "Give me as much as you gave Nashville, because we're the bigger city." And they should get another at least $150 million. And that deal up in Nashville, they paid for a part of the Neon Stadium, whatever they call it, and they're going to pay a pretty good chunk here, and it'll be more than what they're getting on the first draw. They'll be back for a second draw.
All right, thank you.
Let me say one other thing.
Yeah.
The Tigers, before they built the pyramid, had the money lined up, had sold seats license for a 15,000 seats gym on campus. They had it done. They had all things lined up, and politicians got to them, and they didn't do it.
Yeah, well, that was almost 40 years ago, so don't.
Well, sure, but I'm just saying, and they did contribute, but it's $350. I know it's a good conversation for radio, but I think you have to look at the big picture.
All right, thank you, Mike. All right, let's correct a couple things Mike's talking about here. One, Memphis is not the bigger city.
Yeah, no.
Nashville, are you kidding me? Just look at the ADI.
And let's when it drives me crazy when people compare the two things of. First of all, yes, Nashville, the bigger city. Two, what they're building in Nashville is literally going to host Super Bowls, Final Fours, national championship games in college football.
It's a $2 billion project.
It is going to, the amount of money that thing is going to bring in to the city, the state, everything else, that it's a much different beast than renovating Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium and what you're going to host here. I mean, we're talking about literally the Super Bowl coming to Nashville, and it will. The Final Four will come to Nashville. College football national championship games will come to Nashville. It is a different thing that they're building there. So I can understand why the state might want to put more money towards that project than what it would to these projects in Memphis.
I'm trying to get the breakdown again. The ownership group, the Titans ownership group, is putting in a lot of money for that $2 billion project, excuse me. They're putting in a lot of, I'm trying to get the breakdown again.
I want to say they're putting like $800 million, but I can't remember.
Yeah, so they're putting in a lot of that money. This isn't some completely state-funded project. And for the reasons you just gave, it makes an awful lot of sense how important it is because they will get that money back in droves. That is a money maker, no question about it.
And again, it's the NFL. Like, the NFL is a different entity to compare to anything else in this. When you have an NFL team, you absolutely cannot lose them. We can't lose the Grizzlies. Like, you don't. That's the thing. Professional sports, if you have a major professional sports team, and especially when you only have one, you cannot afford to lose them.
All right, so let's get back to the second thing or third thing you brought up about the money. Okay, the state is allocating how much?
They gave what the mayor asked for, $350 million.
Right. So that's the number when we talk 350, and I don't even know if we had brought that up, but that number is what the state is allocated. The rest of that money is supposed to be coming from taxes.
It's bonds.
Bonds or whatever.
By the
Isn't it also the rental cars?
That's
exactly.
all. It's bonds being repaid by the rental car, hotel surcharges, all that stuff that's already in place. That's how they are paying for the original costs of FedEx for them.
Right.
And they asked for them to extend those by, I want to say like 30, 40 years or something. And I think they've given the okay for that.
But that money is not right there today, lump sum. That's the money that is projected over the years.
Well, it's bond. You're issuing bonds for that money.
So how much money will be available total to put to the projects?
I don't know.
He said 680. Is that correct?
I don't believe so because I think some of that money is already because it's not as if the original cost of FedEx Forum is paid off.
Mm-hmm.
If it was, then you could go, okay, well, now we can issue this new set of bonds for this amount of money, and then we're going to repay this going forward with these things. But those taxes are being used right now, and I don't know how much longer, from my understanding of this, to pay the other bonds. So you're not getting that's already committed for now until those bonds are paid off before they could start paying the new bonds. So I don't know when that is and all of that stuff. I certainly am not anywhere in the city planning or budgetary, all that stuff. This is just from what I understand of it, is that some of that money, of that 680 that he asked for, is already committed to the old bonds, so you can't really include that necessarily as new money for this project.
That was my understanding. Now, again, I'm with you, and I know less than what you do, but that was my understanding, that some of that money is already accounted for. So it's not included in whatever that total is. Mike said it was 680. I'll use that number.
I believe it was 684. If I remember.
Okay. So I'll use that. I'll use that number for this discussion. But if there is money out of that 684, which there is, that is used from bonds that were previously issued for the original FedEx Forum, then there's going to be a lot less than 684. I don't know how much less, but there's going to be less. Now, let's say the project for the Grizzlies is $500 million, which it's going to be. I don't see it. Now, again, this is just my thoughts. I don't see how it's going to be less. So if it's $500 million, if it's $500 million exactly, again, just using these figures to make nice round numbers.
684 was the original number of the Memphis, that the mayor, when he made his big announcement, 684 was the total.
If you said $500 million, boom, Grizzlies are like, that's what we want, that's what they get, and you had 184, that's going to this Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, that's a perfect world. Right now, it leaves out the soccer stadium, leaves out more renovations or whatever they need, refurbishment at AutoZone Park. Again, that's a perfect world. We already said that 684 is likely not going to be the exact number because of what they still owe. And that's just saying that the Grizzlies are at 500,000. Who knows? Maybe the Grizzlies are at 450. But maybe the
500,000 we would add.
500 million. Let's say the Grizzlies were 450. That would even be better. But more than likely, they're going to be north of 500, north of $500 million. So therein lies the situation. If you have, let's say, 100 million or less, you're not going to be able to complete the project the way you want to complete the project at Simmons Bank, because the original estimates were 150 to 200. You want to get as close as you can to be able to do everything. Now, you're going to alter things. That's what happens. You design and you have the photos we saw and what their future, what they believe to be the future.
You kind of start with a dream, and then you work towards reality.
Well, you don't
and again, some of the stuff, as Laird V said, it's like you'll come up with some stuff that you have wanted to do, that when you start, you're like, this actually doesn't work at all. We have to change this, thing like that. I mean, it just.
But you know what? I'm not a big fan of when your vision is put on paper and you actually see a project, because that's what you expect to see. So I hate to actually see that. And it may not be that, but it's understandable because it all depends on what you have financially to be able to make that happen. So again, look, they can fight all they want, fans in the city. It's going to happen for both. It's just a matter of what the university will do to help defray the costs from the city and the state, the money that came in from the state and the city, to be able to go toward that part of the project, because we know that the bulk of it is going to go to FedEx Forum, which again directly affects the University of Memphis basketball program because they are a tenant in that building, so it enhances the experience for all fans there as well. That's another reason why this is extremely important. And for those, look, the University of Memphis is dear to my heart. I get a paycheck from them. I do a lot of games involved with the University of Memphis. I love the University of Memphis. But the Grizzlies, we understand, I think, from a sports fan standpoint, but also from a community standpoint in the city, the importance of having an NBA team, having one of the big three professional teams. It's nice to have minor league football and minor league hockey and minor league basketball and all that jazz, but you got an NBA team, and you got to make sure that they are happy with the situation. Now, you may not be happy because the ownership hasn't come out and said anything. And we just talked about the Oklahoma City story, where they're at least giving $50 million to a project that will build them a new arena. The Grizzlies could have said, we want a new arena, but that didn't happen. So, again, it's not one or the other. It's both. It's extremely important for both. This project, I think, will go forward, and both in the end, both fan bases, the city, will be ecstatic about it. That's the way I feel.
We do have some text that we'll get to coming up in just a little bit here as we continue coming up after the break. Do you want to tell you, though, for all your running gear needs, you want to make sure you head over to Fleet Feet. That is the place to go, and 2 locations for you to go. In East Memphis, they're in the Laurelwood Shopping Center. Out in Collierville, Poplar and Houston Levy, right there next to Huey's. As this year just continues to fly by, it won't be long. We'll be talking, we'll have this St. Jude Marathon happening, and I'm sure folks are already thinking about that. Probably are. If you're going to be running in it, that's for sure. Training, getting ready for that, any of that stuff, whether it's the marathon, half marathon, other races, all that. The place to go to get all the gear is Fleet Feet. You want to make sure you get shoes that are just right for you. That's what they'll do for you at Fleet Feet. Again, Laurelwood Shopping Center in East Memphis, and out in Collierville at Poplar and Houston Levy next to Huey's. They are Fleet Feet.
So I found the Titans Stadium breakdown, $2 billion stadium, $840 million, or 40% of the funding comes from the team itself. The metro area, so we're talking about Davidson County and the city of Nashville would finance $760 million of it, or 36%. State bonds covers just 24%. Or $500 million. So there you go. That's the breakdown, at least as far as what I've seen, as far as the new stadium in Nashville. We'll take a break. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hey fellas, Bill Russell here at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, and I've got a question for you. When was the last time you surprised your wonderful lady with something nice for absolutely no reason at all? Not a birthday, not an anniversary, but for no reason other than to show her that you do not take her and all she does for you for granted. For 38 years, we've been helping Memphis men show their ladies how grateful they are to have them in their lives. For special occasions, well, gifts are expected. But a lot of time, the unexpected presents given for no reason other than love have the most impact and say the most to her. Those gifts say you care all the time. The size or the price of the gift is of very little importance. It's the thought you put into it that will make her smile. Come see me, Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers. Let us help you find just the right thing, large or small, that will let her know how you feel. Russell Brothers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. If you need a new roof for your home or business, we hope to hear from you and will work hard to earn your business. We are experts and certified in residential and commercial roofing, siding, and gutter installation. I have been serving the Memphis area for over 20 years, and now with 2 of my sons working with me, we plan to be here for years to come. So if you need a roof, please give us a call. On a personal note, what a great time it is to be a Memphis sports fan. With the Grizzlies and the Redbirds and 901 FC, not to mention Tigers football and basketball, it's going to be a fun year. Thanks to Coach Silverfield and Coach Hardaway and their staffs for their dedication to the student and athletes, the University of Memphis, the City of Memphis, and us fans. Five Ash Roof Services, a proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
When you think about insurance and you want great value without sacrificing great service, I want you to think one place: the Eflin Insurance and the entire Eflin Insurance team. Matt and his group of professionals will access 10 leading companies to find the right home and auto program that fits your budget and your absolute needs. The Eflin Insurance team, the number 386-GER, 386-4777.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Billy, your gas light's on. We need to stop and fill up.
No way, Jen. Gas around here is too expensive. We can make it a little further.
Billy, listen to your big sister. You don't need to drive all over searching for the lowest gas prices. Do what I do and use Upside.
Upside?
Do you live under a rock, Billy? Upside is the hottest cashback app out there. It's free to download, and you get real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. I use it all the time, and I've already made around $200.
You can make that kind of cash back just for buying the gas you have to buy anyway?
Yes, I'm looking at the Upside app now, and there's a gas station at the next exit offering 25 cents per gallon cash back.
Okay, I'm stopping to download Upside and fill up my tank. Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code FRIEND to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRIEND for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRIEND for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
It doesn't matter if you're at the lake, if you're hunting, fishing, playing golf, or just playing around, Scooters Plus can hook you up with the mobility that you need. Scooters Plus has the largest vehicle and parts inventory in the Mid-South and the best service department. You can choose from ATVs, UTVs, golf carts, motorcycles, dirt bikes, trikes, scooters, and even electric bikes. Come in today to start or wrap up your holiday shopping with 25% down on Christmas layaways. Scooters Plus, 3425 Summer Avenue. Call Sam at 458-8843 or go online to scootersplus.us.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings. Good morning. On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
By the way, can we not get into the argument about Memphis versus Nashville population? I mean, come on. Just use your brains and your eyes. Look, we love Memphis. We love it. But Nashville, the population...
You don't have to use brains or eyes. Just use, census.
I know. Population,
use facts.
Population is on the rise in Nashville. It's declining in Memphis. I mean, right now the 2023 census is Memphis is 633, Nashville 692. And then the surrounding area, the counties and everything else included, Nashville's much bigger than Memphis. And the ADI, which again is the area dominant influence, is much bigger in Nashville. Nashville's growing. Come on. Let's not make that argument. And again, the point of the caller and the state fund, we're talking about $500 million given to the project in Nashville, $350 million in Memphis for the stadium projects. That's what was asked for by Mayor Strickland and the powers that be in the city. They got what they asked for. Nashville, again, is a $2 billion stadium, and the state is fronting a quarter of it. The city's throwing in a ton of it. The ownership group is throwing in a ton of it. I don't even understand why we're arguing that.
Some text here. Mac texts in. He says the city and county built FedEx Forum. Para could chip in on renovations. He's just not been a good corporate citizen. Wouldn't even pay naming rights for the Grizzlies house at St. Jude.
He could chip in. Yes, he could.
But he doesn't have, again, everybody's going to look at it and go, he's got billions of dollars. Why not do this? But he also understands, listen, this is the price of, you want to keep a professional sports team in your town, you foot the bill.
The guy doesn't live here. That's the bottom line. The guy doesn't live here. He doesn't show up here. He doesn't come here. He probably doesn't give a crap about the city.
He understands.
Let's be honest.
The city wants them
He's a businessman.
Commit to staying here long term. Well, if you want us to commit to staying here long term, well, then you'll foot the bill. Again, he could have they could easily be like, you need to build us a new stadium or we're leaving. They're willing to do the renovations. They could be doing what Oklahoma City said. Listen, we need a whole new arena, or we're looking elsewhere.
I understand the text.
He very well could do that.
I understand the sentiment of the texter because I also think that way as well. Goodwill, just throw. Here's $50 million. It fell out of my pocket. I don't know. Maybe he'll do that. But
if he gave $50 million, there would be people saying, "Well, if he give $50, why doesn't he give $200?"
Yeah, that's nothing for him.
People are going to complain.
But again, here's a guy who's an owner. He's a businessman. He doesn't live in the city. So just take that for what it's worth.
Raider Corey says, I'm a sports fan, and I'm an alum of the school, and I'm a Grizzlies fan. When I attend Grizzlies games, I don't see a lot of Tiger fans and vice versa. I support both entities, but all the back and forth, bickering, and divisiveness is what this country has become. It's just hard for some to have an objective stance on anything. Yeah, again, there's in this world now, people just like to argue about whatever. And so they'll Yeah, that's why if Para gave $50 million, they would say, well, why the hell isn't he giving 100? Or if he gave 100, they'd say, why isn't he giving 200? People will argue that is the way of our country now. It's just, if they don't agree completely with you, then you hate them and you got to fight with them.
I don't think for a second that the Grizzlies powers that be don't care about this city or care about the university. I think they do, but they understand what's most important is them and their arena and their future. So they're worried about them first, and then whatever they can do to help out in the community, they will do it. But that's not their priority. Their priority is them, their arena, their team.
Which, again, the university uses. The FedEx Forum has no effect on the Tigers. They play there, too.
Right. But the narrative over the last how many years has been football, get a new stadium or a renovated stadium, and then maybe realignment will go your way. We know that narrative. Okay, the narrative's becoming old, but there is a lot of truth to it that you don't want to play in an old, even though, again, the sight lines are great. I understand that. I don't want to down Simmons Bank. I still enjoy that stadium. It still has held up nicely over the years. But you want all the modern amenities. You want the renovations to basically be this century, not stuff from that was built in the 60s. So hopefully that changes the opinions of a lot of people, especially people outside the area, when they think about Memphis and the stadium they play in. That's why it's so important for them to get these renovations done.
Pat texted says, what are the chances of 901 FC getting $53 million to build? I would say slim. At this point, I would say slim.
Slim.
I don't think there's any chance of that soccer stadium getting built in this round. And now, if they find some different funding or whatever, with this whole thing, no chance.
I'm not going to say zero, but I'm going to say slim, like you said.
I'll say 0.1.
It's going to be tough. I mean, we know the situation. We've kind of gone over it a million times with where they are. And all of a sudden, another $100 million isn't dropping from the sky. All right, we need to drop out of here for a few minutes and come back in hour number 2. We'll talk to a guy who very synonymous with this city and the University of Memphis, where he starred as a running back. He is Doc Holliday from Action News 5. He'll join us to kick off hour 2. We'll talk about Tigers and Navy. We'll probably get into the stadium issue as well with Doc. And then Jerry Palm at 8:25 on college football. DeMichael Cole and the Grizzlies at 9:05. And then 5 favorite things, your 5 favorite TV game show hosts of all time. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Fall time, game time, food time, fun time. It's all Dave & Buster's time. Watch the game at Dave & Buster's, 2751 Wolf Creek Parkway, and get $4 pints all day, every day. Plus $5 appetizer bites all day, every day. Join the fun and games after 4 p.m. every Monday and Thursday and get all-you-can-eat wings. All at Dave & Buster's, 2751 Wolf Creek Parkway. Fall is here, and that means games, food, and fun at Dave & Buster's.
Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair because they just don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance carriers each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. This is why you call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates and consultation and love to assist homeowners with their claims. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, and diagnosing problems is second to none. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. And the best part of all you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, Certainteed, Owens Corning, and even Mulehide. We offer best-in-class warranties on all of our jobs, up to 50 years. When it comes to roofs and restoration, call Metro Builders to schedule your free inspection. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Now that your people are starting to return to their offices and other workplaces, it's time to think about doing something special for them. And nothing is more special than having a breakfast or lunch catered by Sunrise. Sunrise on Jefferson or Sunrise on Poplar can provide delicious, fresh food for your team that will be better than anything from anywhere else. If you've got 20 or more people, a meal from Sunrise will make everybody happy to be back at work. We always say this, but where your people are concerned, why settle when you can have Sunrise?
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Sports 56 traffic.
Right now, still working accident on I-40 East at Warford. The right two lanes are blocked. Also, I-40 West, the westbound lanes on I-40 at Warford. Expect delays, too. There's a little bit of a rubbernecking delays there from the accident on the other side. So I-40 East and westbound lanes on at Warford. Accident and expect delays there. New accident on Sycamore View at Raleigh-LaGrange. And then we're still dealing with delays on I-40 at I-240. By the flyover. This is your Sports 56 traffic update.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Genuine diamonds, baby.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 8:04 the time. Hour number 2 here on Sports 56 Mornings, the Wednesday, September 13th, 2023 edition. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd with you from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, it's where family and fun come together. The world's biggest spa sale continues at 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. We're going to talk to our good buddy Doc Holliday in just a moment. Currently 70 degrees as you get your Wednesday going. Cloudy skies. We're looking at a high of 82 today. Tonight, partly to mostly cloudy with a chance of rain at about 40%. Low tonight of 64 degrees. We've been talking a lot about the stadium issue. Obviously, it's a huge game tomorrow night. Nationally televised game for the Tigers as they open up conference play against the midshipmen from Navy Academy. Here's a guy who starred for the University of Memphis. I guess it was Memphis State when Doc was running the football like he did. Played in the National Football League with the Rams. Of course, now you know him from Action News 5, their terrific sports anchor. Big part of the fabric of this community and a guy that can talk about a lot of the subjects that we dove into hour number 1 as far as the stadium is concerned. He is Doc Holliday. You can follow him on Twitter at _Doc Holliday. He joins us now on Sports 56 Mornings. Doc, thanks for getting up with us. We appreciate it.
All right, no problem, Greg, Eli, man. Guys, how y'all doing, man?
Doing good. I told you last night when I texted you to come on the show, and you're always kind to say yes to us. Want to dive into obviously the game, the team, your thoughts on that. I do later in the conversation want to ask you about the stadium, but we'll wait till the end for that. We've had a very interesting conversation the first hour of the show about that. But look, that's the stadium where you played and played so well for the Tigers. This year, off to a 2-0 start, as you would expect with the competition they played. Can you get a gauge of this team? They've dominated 2 inferior opponents. Do you kind of have a thought on how good or they are, or is it just too early to tell?
Well, for me, it's too early to tell. What they did, man, they did exactly what they were supposed to do in these first 2 games. These games were scheduled Bethune-Cookman and Arkansas State for the Tigers to go out there and get easy wins and work out some imperfections. And that's exactly what they did. They got 2 easy wins. They were able to work on some things. And we'll see beginning tomorrow against Navy. And we don't know how good Navy is going to be, but the fact of the matter is it is a conference game. It's the first conference game, so we'll see, and I'll get a better gauge of what this team is all about after tomorrow's game. But from these first two games, they went out there and did what they were supposed to do, man, because those teams are not on the level that the Memphis Tigers are on.
What do you think so far of what Seth Hennigan, the first game, a couple of interceptions, obviously this past week better, but again, they haven't asked him to do a whole lot to this point, but where do you think he is right now as a third-year starter?
I think I like what Seth is, man. I was kind of expecting, some bumps and some bruises, especially in that first game, because he lost a lot of receivers last year. He lost, Big Caden, that's Priest-Cohen, the tight end, left and went to Ole Miss, and he was the guy that, Seth looked to when he couldn't find anybody down the field. And when he was under pressure, he was always able to count on getting that ball to Caden. So right now, you can go through spring and you can go through preseason training camp, but you never really know who that receiver is, and you're still trying to build relationships with him. And he had a couple of picks and a couple of turnovers, especially against Bethune. We didn't expect to happen, but I like what Seth is. I'm glad he's still here. He's our best option. He's a quarterback that can win some games, I think, if asked to do so. So I'm just real curious, and I'm real excited about continuing to see his continued progression and evolution, because I think he's the youngest third-year starting quarterback in FBS. So, he's still a young quarterback, even though this is his third year. So I still want to see how his relationship is going to evolve with some of these new receivers.
As a former running back yourself, you probably have a good idea about the running backs on the University of Memphis roster, much better than the layman would know. Can you see any of these guys breaking out to have that huge year? We always talk about that terrific line of running backs that have come through the University of Memphis, especially recently. But when you look at the newcomer Blake Watson and Sutton Smith, and we saw Jay Ducker last year and saw him for the first time this season against Arkansas State, even the young guy Bo Hargrove, the Mississippi State transfer, do you see a breakout running back? How do you see the running game?
Well, I wish you all could have saw my face, man. As soon as you said running back, I got a smile on my face. Just a third quick.
You should.
You know what I'm saying? Because, I'm always watching the running backs. But, yeah, I really do think one of them could be a breakout running back. But right now, I'm a running back. And, to be counting on 4 and 5 running backs, 3 and 4, that's too many to me. You got to give at least one. You got to make a decision to be like, okay, this is going to be my dog right here, and this is going to be my two dogs. So I like what I see out of Blake Watson, even though, Arkansas State defensive line did a good job this last game kind of bottling them up a little bit. But I like how tough Blake Watson runs. I like his discipline. I like the fact that he can catch the ball out of the backfield, so he's somebody that you can count on. And with Sutton Smith, I call it the Sammy Davis. I love because he has that tap, and he has great vision, and he has that explosiveness about him. So he's somebody that can come in and make plays. But if it was me, I would love to see Blake Watson get about 20 to 25 carries a game. Let Sutton Smith go in there and get some. But even Jay Ducker is good. He can get some carries. But if it was me watching, because even watching that first game, and even though it was Bethune, I love what I saw out of Blake because he's decisive when he gets the rock. He hits the hole. He's not the fastest. He's not the quickest, but he's a very decisive running back, and he's strong. So I can see Blake being that guy if they made a decision to give him the rock, 20 carries, 21, 22 carries a game.
Are running backs okay splitting the totes? Or when they get inside the running back room, they're thinking, may the best man come out of it, and the best man should be able to get 20 carries a game. How do they look at it from a running back group?
I can tell you how I used to look at it. No, I don't want to split carries. No, you don't want to split carries, man. I'm sorry, man. It sounds good when you're talking to the media. Yeah, that's my guy. And that can be your guy, and you can love your guy.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you want to be that dude getting the rock.
Sure.
My 4 years at Memphis, man, I had to share carries. Larry Porter was my guy. X-Man was my guy. Tweet Martin was my guy. Leon Bosman was my guy. I love those dudes, but I wanted them on the bench. I wanted the ball.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But what I'm saying, Doc, what I'm saying is, though, if you would rather have some carries than no carries. In other words, if you got beaten out, you don't want to sit there and collect dust. You still want to get some carries. So, yes, you want to be the guy, but if some guy's better than you, then you're like, oh, okay, I'll settle for at least some action. You don't want to get no action whatsoever.
Oh, no. See, I was talking as the fact of a starting money.
Right.
If you're not a starter, of course you want to split carries, because if you're not starting, you're like, well, at least let me go in there and get my hand on the ball.
Exactly.
But if you're a starter, you're like, no, man, I'm good. Just keep giving me the ball. I'm straight.
I'm not getting tired.
How much?
No, I'm good. You'd be exhausted. You're like, no, I'm good.
And I'm with that, because I've said all along, that's one of, like, Ryan Silverfield has always seemed to want to have a bunch of guys getting like 5, 6, 7 carries. To me, settle on a guy, have your second guy, and but how much? You talk about 20 carries. How much do we get to a point now in the world of sports that, especially at the college level, although now they're able to make some money, that coaches have to consider, like, I have to also think about this guy's future. I can't get him beat up by giving him 1 million carries in his college career to preserve him for a chance, especially the way we see running backs are treated at the next level. Does the coach have to consider that at the college level?
No, I would think a coach should, but a coach doesn't have to consider it. I mean, I made a video and I made a point, and some people got mad at me like, "You're not Travis Hunter," because I was talking about Colorado and Travis Hunter. And that's a great question, Eli, because I'm like, no, man, just because a guy can go both ways and a guy can, carry the ball 30 or 40 times a game, you don't necessarily should give him the ball 30 or 40 times a game, because you are going to beat him up. Not only are you going to beat him up because, NFL teams looking like, oh, that guy had a lot of production, but, man, that guy got a lot of miles on him, too. That body's been banged up. So, no, coaches don't have to think about that, because a lot of coaches think selfishly. They like, if this guy can play and he can help me win some games, I'm going to give him the ball as many times as I want to, and give him as many opportunities to make plays for me, because I'm trying to win. I'm trying to probably get a better job and get to the next level. So, coaches don't have to think about that, but some coaches do think about that, but the majority of them don't, and you can't expect them to think about that, because, coaches, they can say they're not selfish and that it's not about self-preservation, but it is, because most people, it's about self-preservation with them. They want to look good and win games, and they want to get their best players out there and give them the rock and give them opportunities to help them win games as much as possible.
Doc Holliday joining us from Action News 5. You can follow him on Twitter at @the_Doc Holliday. Again, going back to the first question I asked you about the first two games, it's tough to gauge just how good the Tigers are. Obviously, they did what they were supposed to do. But that defense, they really did what they were supposed to do. Certainly through 2 weeks, one of the top defensive units in the country. Again, we take it with a grain of salt. But now, start to get better competition. Navy's always a threat because of the triple option offense, something that they don't see that often, unless, of course, they now see it once a year in the conference. Then you turn around, you're going to have Missouri and St. Louis. You're going to have Boise State. You're going to have Tulane. The competition starts to get tougher. How good do you think this defense can be? And overall, what are your expectations for the season from the Tigers?
Well, I love what I'm seeing out of the defense right now. We can talk about the competition from the first two games, but the fact of the matter is Matt Barnes has put some good teams together. He switches and changes some things around. I would like to see that defensive line be a little bit more, dominant. But, on the back end, you got those linebackers and you got those DBs making plays and doing some things and switching up zone to man and switching up the kind of zone that he's playing and the man that he's playing, and they're able to go out there and be extremely stingy. And I like the team speed that I'm seeing from that defense right now and that physicality. So I'm glad and loving what I'm seeing right there. But going forward, this is a team that honestly has an opportunity. They can win every game from now on, but they can also lose every game because, it is what it is. That schedule isn't that intimidating. It isn't that imposing. And, last year the Tigers lost several games late where they just lost leads and just lost their cool. So that record could have been a lot better last year. So looking at this team, I'm expecting a 9-win season, at least a 9-win season on the minimum, and even more because they can get that done. It just all depends on how disciplined they play, how cool they play, if they can go out there and make plays when they have to make plays, and they don't always have to be big plays, but just go out there and play some solid, good, strong, gritty football, and then they can grit out some wins.
And obviously avoid key injuries.
And that's always huge, trying to stay healthy. But normally you don't have any control over that.
Exactly.
You wanted the ball. Would you like to play in a triple option offense when you know you're not really going to throw the ball over?
Man, yeah, man. Heck yeah. Man. Yeah, I love to play. Yeah. Quarterback, hey, look, yes. And I'm always, because I'll be always the guy like, look, man, you should have gave me the ball. I was open. Oh, man, hold on, man. You should have held on. You should have pitched it to me. Knowing I ain't really like pitches, but you should have pitched it to me, man. So, yeah, I would have loved to play in a triple option offense. Of course.
Doc
I'm a running back.
Doc would have wanted to throw the ball out of the triple option offense, give him a little pitch, and then throw it down the field, get the defense by surprise. Doc Holliday joining us here on the program. No, you couldn't throw the ball?
He didn't want to get rid of the ball. Once he got it, he wanted to keep it. He wanted to carry it.
I wasn't going to throw the ball. I would have been like, hey, wasn't open. He'd be like, man, I was wide open. I ain't see it.
So, Doc, the story of our first hour of the program, and I brought it up because it became pretty contentious on social media. I'm not sure how much you're on social media, but all of a sudden now, the blood flow of a lot of sports fans around here is getting high. It's up to their heads now as far as what's going on with the stadium deal, what's going to happen with the renovations to Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, of course the FedEx Forum. What will the Grizzlies decide to do? And we are getting closer and closer to a new election. We are getting closer to a new mayor. There still has not been anything confirmed yet, although we do know that the money from the state has been allocated, and then the rest of the money coming from bonds and things of that nature through taxes. So in the end, we have, it seems like, a contingent of Memphis Tigers fans going up against Memphis Grizzlies fans, and I don't know why, because I still think in the end both of these projects will be done and will be done very, very well. What is your thoughts, especially around the newsroom, as this has become really a hot button topic?
Well, I think you got to give money to both, man. I mean, the University of Memphis, man, and athletics and football have been around here for a long time. The Memphis Grizzlies is still pretty much a new girlfriend, and I still side out at Memphis Grizzlies like, are y'all gonna continue to be married to us, or y'all gonna leave? And even though as much as I love the Memphis Grizzlies, of course I love the Memphis Tigers as well. I say you gotta take care of both of your sports entities. And I hate to see you got Grizzlies fans on one hand give the Grizzlies all the money, and you got Memphis Tigers fans like, hold on, man, I don't even think Memphis Tigers fans asking for all the money. They just want some money to help improve that stadium. And we do have a professional team there now with the Showboats. Who knows how long they're going to be there? But right now they're there, and they're trying to use that Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. So I don't like the fact that people say, well, let's go ahead on and use it so we could try to attract a conference.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so over trying to court and chase these conferences, and everybody keeps turning us down. I say just go ahead on, put your best foot forward, put your best clothes on, and let them come to you. Because when if just like if I'm a nice looking man, if I'm out there trying to talk to every woman possible, sooner or later the women gonna be looking like he's trying to talk to everybody. There must be something wrong with him. You know what I'm saying? So
you're desperate. You look desperate, Doc.
You're desperate. It's like y'all trying to talk to every conference in the world. So with me, just go ahead on, put your best foot forward. Invest in the stadium and help this program out, but also do the same with the Memphis Grizzlies, because whether you upgrade the FedEx Forum or not, if the Memphis Grizzlies decide to leave in cahoots with the NBA or whatever, they're going to leave. I don't care what you do to the FedEx Forum, but show them that you love them, which you do, because the Grizzlies are able to control the FedEx Forum pretty much and get income from it. But I say you got to take care of both of them. Don't let this be a divide amongst the fans in the city. Mm-hmm. I say go ahead on, take care of both of them.
He is Doc Holliday, Action News 5 sports anchor, former University of Memphis and NFL running back. You can follow him on Twitter at _Doc Holliday.
See, Doc, that plan might work for you, but for guys like me, we can't. If we sit in the corner and wait for them to come to us, they never come to us. They're way better looking guys in the room.
Well, I'm married, so I would not. And me and my wife have been together since I was 13. So I was never going to do that anyway. You know what I'm saying?
You talk the big talk.
See,
right?
when I was out there, like I had to go. You got to take as many shots as you possibly can, hoping to just connect on one. If I wait for them to come to me, they were never going to come to me.
Well, see, Eli, your self-esteem is not as strong as it should be. Through University of Memphis, we got high self-esteem, but it's got to be even higher. You know what I mean? You got to be like, hold on. You got to, when you walk with boldness and confidence, Eli, you don't say anything. But if you standing there like you the coldest dude in the room, sooner or later they're gonna turn around and be like, "Why that dude standing there with so much confidence?" There's something intrigued about him.
The most important thing is how high is your percentage completion. That's what you need to know, right?
Well, they don't need to know about the percentage completion. You just throw those shoulders back and keep your head up high. You know.
Doc will love advice for us.
Yeah.
I mean Zach, I should say. Doc, as always, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. We'll see you on the sidelines tomorrow night.
No problem, man. All right,
Thank you,
man.
now. Doc Holliday. Zach, what was that one again? You pull your shoulders back and what?
You pull your shoulders back, keep your head up, and like you walk
confidence.
tall.
Yeah, you walk tall.
Like you own the place.
Absolutely, you do. You've done all right for yourself, mister.
No, listen, I've got a great wife, but if I just waited around, they weren't coming to me.
I hear you.
Because all eyes gonna be on you on Thursday. So throw them shoulders back, keep your head up high, and put your best foot forward.
And if the university still has high self-esteem, that's great for them. I'm not sure the university should have great self-esteem right now. And so, again, when I was firing all the shots and getting turned down, it hurts your self-esteem. I would think the university probably has a little hurt self-esteem right now.
But Doc is right in the sense that you can't control anything but yourself. So you put your best forward. You do everything you could possibly do, and they are doing everything they could possibly do. But he's right also in the sense that, man, isn't it just tiresome to talk about realignment, how much we've talked about it, and different conferences, and will continue, unfortunately, to do so.
If you're not going out to the Tigers game tomorrow night, you want to be able to watch the game along with, of course, the Thursday night NFL game and any other action that is going on. You can do that at East Coast Wings and Grill. You can do that while enjoying great food and great drink over at East Coast Wings and Grill, located just off Highway 64 between the Lowe's and Walmart. Kate Hyde Boulevard right there runs between those two, and that's where you'll find East Coast Wings and Grill. That's where you're going to find 60 flavors of wings, great TVs to watch the game, 24 draft beers on tap, any other drinks that you want, and beyond the wings, all kinds of other great items on the menu, from their burgers and other sandwiches. They've got salads. They've got all kinds of different things for you to choose from on the menu. Their flatbreads, including the Philly cheesesteak flatbread, which I absolutely love. Absolutely delicious stuff over at East Coast Wings and Grill. They've got their rewards program where you can earn rewards for every dollar that you spend. 3:30 until 6:30 is happy hour Monday through Friday. So leading up to the game tomorrow night, again, if you're not going out, you can go for happy hour, enjoy some great specials, and then the game comes on for you at 6:30. It's all at East Coast Wings and Grill, located just off Highway 64. Check them out, East Coast Wings and Grill.
We got some NBA, Major League Baseball, NFL news to get to later on in the hour, but up next, it's Jerry Palm. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Check. You might already know about the Acura MDX. V6 engine, seat 7. We have an announcement. We swapped that engine with a specially made 3-liter turbo V6, race-tuned the steering and suspension, and for the first time, added Type S performance to an SUV. So we're just gonna drop this right here. The Acura MDX and first ever MDX Type S. Acura, precision crafted performance.
Visit Acura of Memphis for summer of performance deals. AcuraofMemphis.com.
Football is back, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, has you covered. New customers can bet $5 on football and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Plus, all customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every game day this September. New customers, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use the code ROME, R-O-M-E, bet just $5, and take home $200 instantly in bonus bets. That's code ROME, only on DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be present in state where lawful to wager. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. See dkng.co/football for eligibility, terms, and responsible gaming resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions to apply.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Roofing and siding, gutters too. We're the pros you can trust to get it done right. Call on us. 5-Ash Roofing, the name to know. 5-Ash Roofing, the only way to go. 5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. 5-Ash Roofing.
Is that not the corniest thing you've ever heard? Can you believe I paid good money for that silly jingle? Well, the experts say make it memorable, and I think I got my money's worth. 5-Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5-Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard. Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun. So you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard. It's perfect.
Now try Babbel free. Just go to Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Purple Wave Auction understands that it takes the right equipment to maximize profits in the field. That equipment is up for auction every week at purplewave.com. Bid on hundreds of items from John Deere, Kubota, Case IH, and more. Our marketplace transparency makes bidding on those tractors, balers, and sprayers safe and easy. Equipment sells to the highest bidder regardless of price. Get started now at purplewave.com. Purple Wave Auction. Straight, simple, sold.
Sports 56 traffic.
Working heavy traffic and an accident on I-40 East and the westbound lanes at Warford. The accident is on I-40 East, the eastbound lanes at Warford. The right two lanes are blocked. There's an overturned Amazon truck that is blocking that. So just be mindful of using that part of the interstate as your route. That's I-40 West and eastbound lanes at Warford. Accident is on the eastbound lanes. Expect delays. Also, accident on I-240 West at I-40. Right shoulder is blocked. Sycamore View at Raleigh-LaGrange is your other accident. This is your Sports 56 traffic update.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Diamonds are forever. Woo!
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Adam Zagoria reporting that Penny Hardaway, full court press, was in to see Billy Richmond in Camden earlier this week, as was Nate Oates of Alabama. Of course, Penny wants to land Billy Richmond's father, of course, had played at Vanderbilt and then transferred to the University of Memphis. A good friend, and everybody knows his restaurant, the Wing Guru. But also, Billy posted a picture of his official visit to LSU, where it says hashtag Go Tigers, GEAUX, but then also hashtag Not Committed. That's one, of course, the Tigers would love to land Billy Richmond. Right now, we'd like to land, and we can. It's Jerry Palm.
It's time for Sports 56 Mornings Weekly Chat with Jerry Palm, college football and basketball writer and bracketologist for CBSSports.com. Here are Greg, Eli, and Jerry.
It is always great to catch up with Jerry Palm. We get to do it each and every week during both the college basketball, college football seasons. You can follow him on CBS Sports, CBSSports.com. You can follow him on Twitter as well at JP Palm CBS. JP, how are you?
All right, how are you?
I'm good. We're going to get to that long delay in the game you went to last week with Purdue and Va Tech in just a moment. But first, 5 favorite things, your 5 favorite game show hosts, TV game show hosts of all time. What do you got?
All right, number 5, Bob Eubanks. Number 4, Monty Hall. Number 3, Bob Barker. Number 2, Alec Trebek. And number 1, Gene Rayburn.
Okay.
That's a pretty old school list.
A lot of similar names to what I'll have on my list when we do this next hour, so not a surprise there. Nothing with the modern guys. Do you like any of the real modern dudes like the Steve Harveys, the...
Steve Harvey's okay.
I like Steve Harvey. What's the guy's name?
Yeah.
Drew Carey?
I actually haven't seen that much of the show with him on it.
Mm-hmm.
But I like Drew moderating Whose Line Is It Anyway? And Drew's a pretty funny guy, so I'm sure he does a good job.
Who's the guy that does
Then
now?
Pat Sajak. I like Pat Sajak. He just didn't make the list.
And who's the guy that does Let's Make a Deal now? Wayne Brady.
Wayne Brady.
Who's as talented as they come.
Oh, he's very funny.
All right.
Yeah.
So last weekend, you go to see Purdue, Virginia Tech in Blacksburg and sit through how long a delay?
There was actually a brief delay to start the game, and then a 5.5-hour rain delay, which, we all knew. It was in the forecast, flash flood watches, severe thunderstorms expected. It was all in the forecast. We didn't know how much of the game we were going to get in, but partway through the first quarter, they had to call it, or at least delay it, and it was delayed for 5.5 hours. So Purdue is now all-time 1-0 in night games that started at noon.
Did they feed you 3 times?
For that. Huh?
Did they feed you 3 times in the press box?
Up in the press box, they had to get pizzas at some point, like in the middle of the rain delay, in order to.
That is a long day.
That is all. Well, in fact, we couldn't even stay for the whole game because I had to get. We were staying in Charleston after the game, in Charleston, West Virginia, which is about a 2-hour or so drive from Blacksburg. And I had video. I had the stuff I had to do for work that I couldn't do in the press box, so we had to go around halftime.
Wow!
And just follow the rest of the game, in the car. But and of course, the Alabama-Texas game was going on then as well, which obviously is more important to my work than the Purdue-Virginia Tech game. So, but yeah, so we had to go at halftime. It's a great environment for a game. The Enter Sandman thing is really cool. The team entrance, although they didn't do it as a team entrance because of the delay in warm-ups. When the teams warmed up, they just stayed on the field. They didn't have like a separate team, entrance to the field, which is when they normally do Enter Sandman. So they were doing it right before kickoff. And then they also did it again at the restart.
I was going to say, did they do it at the restart? Did they do Enter
They
Sandman
did.
at the restart?
It's funny. The people who are in the stands are all jumping up and down, and they're singing all the words, and it's great. It's like a concert. And then the second time around, when they were doing it, the Purdue team, a lot of the Purdue team was jumping up and down on the sideline too. They were getting into it.
It's probably a little antsy by that point, I think.
I would think
I'm
so.
sure they were.
Or a little loopy.
Please let us go
Virginia
play.
Tech players are like, I've heard this 100 times.
So what you mentioned, Alabama, Texas. Texas gets the job done. I just don't believe this is certainly by Alabama standards, this isn't a very good Alabama team. But what did you think of the performance by Texas?
Yeah, they did a great job. They exploited matchups. They won the line of scrimmage. I mean, that's really how you win football games anyways. You got to win the line of scrimmage. And Texas won the line of scrimmage. Alabama's offensive line, in particular, did not have a good day. So many penalties. Alabama had 10 penalties. And I think 4 of the 5 offensive linemen that started the game had at least 1 penalty. And that's just, it's hard to get your offense going. And, Milroe was okay, sometimes sharp, sometimes not, which is not terribly unusual for a guy in his, second start as the actual starter. I mean, he had a couple starts last year as a fill-in when you're not really working much with the first team. But, this year he's the starter. So, the secondary got burned deep a couple of times. It just didn't look like what we're used to seeing from Alabama. And Alabama's still a pretty good team. That's a very talented team. So, they might be able to figure it out. But now they've got to do it right away because one more loss and they're not going to the college football playoff.
Well, let us not forget, they were doing the same thing in Austin last year before Ewers got hurt.
Right. Hudson Card, now the Purdue quarterback, came in that game.
Yeah.
And they were almost able to win, but not quite good enough. Anyways, so yeah, they were. This was a convincing win for Texas. Now they got to keep it going because the margin for error is pretty small if you want to make the college football playoff. But for Alabama, and really, it's been a kind of a poor performance by the league as a whole in non-conference play. It's relatively poor. But what's really, I think, important is you've got Alabama and LSU with non-conference losses,
right?
Which means, and they're going to play each other,
right?
Right. And
de facto elimination game.
Well, it's kind of already because if one of those teams doesn't go 12-1, or Tennessee doesn't step up, and perhaps we're just going to assume Georgia's undefeated. Tennessee needs to finish 11-1, but that also means beating Alabama. And do they play LSU as well?
No, I don't believe so.
No, just Alabama, right? So Alabama still has LSU and Tennessee. And if those teams beat each other up enough, you could have 13-0 Georgia and nobody else in the league with fewer than 2 losses. And this in the SEC is only sending one team to the playoffs this year, which is not horrible, but they're almost used to the idea of putting 2 in after having done it for the last.
Well, then you think, okay, right now I think it's fair to say, obviously a slow start for the SEC. But is it fair to say that when it's all said and done, right now people are saying it's a down year for the SEC. Well, how about if Georgia wins a 3rd straight national championship? Is it a down year?
It's a great year for Georgia.
Okay, so you can separate the two and say it's a down year even though they have the champion.
I do.
Okay. To me, it's
they're part of the league doesn't win a championship, although the league counts them surely.
No, I would argue.
But Georgia wins. Georgia would be a 3-time champion.
Yes, but I would still say one of my, like I'm Greg Sankey. Hey, we won.
Greg Sankey will make sure he
so
says
it's not
that.
a down year.
Oh, yeah.
It's 3 straight national championships. You're saying it's a down year for us?
Well, it can be both a down year for the rest of the league, and you still got the best team.
All right, fair enough.
You in your playoff projections now have Texas in there. You did not have them in before last week, did you?
Correct. Because it was based on an expected loss to Alabama. Well, they didn't lose, so that changes things. Yes, I have Texas. In fact, it's funny. Normally the playoff projections don't start to muddle until we get into conference play. And this year, Florida State beat LSU, and I'm changing it again, not because LSU was in the projection, but because it moved Florida State in. And now, Texas beats Alabama, and they move into the projection. It's like I'm changing it every week now.
What you have now is my preseason projection, other than you have Michigan instead of Ohio State. How between Michigan, Ohio State, and even
Penn State?
And Penn State.
Yes,
is Penn State ready to compete with them?
Yes.
Do you think for this year?
Yeah. It's going to depend on how good their young offensive backfield plays. Now, they've got a new starter at quarterback and some new running backs, and they played a little bit last year, but this is their first year taking over as the stars of the offense. If those guys play well, they are capable of beating either Michigan or Ohio State. Then they get Ohio State at home at Michigan. So those 3 teams have a schedule where they each play, one at home and one on the road. So Penn State gets Ohio State at home and goes to Michigan. No, it's the other way around. They get Michigan at home and they go to Ohio State because Ohio State's at Michigan this year. So Penn State gets Michigan at home. And, that'll probably be an electric atmosphere as it always is. And, they've got some young talent, and it's really talented. And if they can live up to expectation in games of that caliber, then Penn State's got a chance to win the league.
Is the Pac-12 going to beat each other up, or is there going to be one team that comes out of there unblemished, and they'll be certainly right there for the playoffs, one of the playoff spots?
Well, those top 5 are all pretty good. If you were to force me to pick one now that really looks to be standing out, I'd say it's Washington. Washington laid waste to Boise State. They've been very impressive in their first 2 games. So we'll see what goes on as the season progresses. But you've got a lot of good teams, and you don't get everybody at home, so it's going to be hard to separate the 5 teams at the top of the Pac-12 this year.
And Washington this week has who?
They're at Michigan State.
Okay, here we go.
They're
at Michigan State. The whole
who
mess.
has other things on their mind.
Okay, so this one, what is it with Michigan State, first of all? And second of all, no way Mel Tucker survives, right?
No, not with the scorched earth defense. It's going to make it pretty hard to survive this, even if he ultimately wins, whatever comes of this hearing. It's going to be hard for the university to keep him on. And it's just, it never seems to end for them, does it?
No.
It's like one thing after another.
Exactly.
And I know they're fans because I know Michigan State fans. I know they're tired of it. It's just why can't we hire people that aren't going to get us into this kind of a problem? Now, the Larry Nassar thing, of course, was significantly worse and longer term, and just but now Michigan State is, the administration is a bit on edge about stuff like this, as you can imagine. So yeah, I think it's going to be hard for them to keep Mel Tucker after this. I think really the only question now is how much of his contract do they have to pay out at the end. That's really what it's about. If they can fire him for cause, and they don't have to pay out this massive contract that they gave him after his first season, then that's great for Michigan State, I suppose. But if they have to pay a ton of money to get rid of him, they're still going to have to get rid of him.
Yeah, I would say there's maybe a chance he gets some of it, but there's no way he's getting all of it. And
oh yeah,
there's a better chance he gets none of it than all of it. I would say that, and that's like they're not real motivated to keep him to begin with. I don't think, because they're kind of realize we got a little buyer's remorse. We probably gave him that contract too early.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, well, and I think everybody knew that.
Yes.
Except Michigan State. It's like, wow.
It was bizarre when they did it. Like, it was like, really? Like, he's 1 year? Like, you're giving him this deal like he's Nick Saban all of a sudden?
For that long. I mean, it's not like, he didn't quite get Jimbo Fisher money or anything like that, but Jimbo Fisher had been successful for quite some time.
Won an Emmy, right. Yeah.
And his contract was ridiculous, a lot of people thought. But then Mel Tucker, after
after 8 games or something.
I was shocked.
I was shocked.
Yeah.
We said it on the show. That's ridiculous. Not that we had the foresight to know that he was going to get into trouble a couple of years later.
It was ridiculous on his face.
And he had success.
Based on what we knew at the time.
Right.
Yeah.
And he had success. Speaking of success, the story of college football right now, early in the season, is Coach Prime and Colorado. And they've been the darlings of everybody. Everybody coming out of the woodwork to support Coach Prime. I love what's going on. Can he sustain this?
We'll see. When you get into conference play, let's see. Because that's really where you get tested. They played TCU in a game where you had almost 90 points scored. So, that was obviously a great offensive performance by both teams and, not so much defense. And then, beat Nebraska pretty comfortably. Nebraska's not very good, obviously. They're going to probably handle Colorado State. But let's see what happens when we get into conference play. The signs are promising. I don't think there's really any reason for outright pessimism or anything, but I'm still in, wait and see mode. Let's see what happens when we get into the conference play against, some of these better teams in the league, and if Colorado can place itself among the 5 teams that I think are at the top of the league. I don't include Colorado in that group.
Well, it will be after this week. They go to Oregon and then host USC.
Wow.
So
there you go. So we will find out. We will know by the end of September what to make of Colorado, or at least we will have a better idea what to make of Colorado by the end of September.
You get Shedeur Sanders versus Bo Nix, and then Shedeur Sanders versus Caleb Williams. So it'll be some fun games.
How about, you know what's interesting with Shedeur Sanders? He was doing the same thing at Jackson State that he's doing right now against Colorado, or with Colorado, but against obviously better competition, I think. I mean, Nebraska, and then the first game, TCU, they were in the national championship game last year, so you would assume.
They were,
but it's interesting.
It's not last year's team.
Right, but Mel Kiper Jr. has him now number 3 as far as quarterbacks for next year, I assume behind May and behind Caleb Williams.
And they've got a two-way player as well.
Travis Hunter.
Travis
He's not draft eligible this year.
Yeah, Hunter's incredible. But my point is that here he is 2 games in, doing things that he did at Jackson State, yet did not get any credit at Jackson State for being a guy with a big arm and capable of playing incredibly well as a quarterback and a leader out there. But now he comes into the FBS, plays for a power conference, wins 2 games, and all of a sudden now he's 3rd on the draft board. Maybe he should have been there all along. Who knows? He's got his talent.
And maybe he would have been, I don't know if he was draft eligible last year or not, but maybe he would have been.
That's a good point.
Talent. It's not like they can't find talent.
I don't think he would have been. Yeah, I don't think he would have been.
But let's be honest, doing it at this level against TCU is different than doing it at Jackson State. It is different. You set a school record at Colorado for passing against TCU. That's a big difference.
But it's 2 games. What I'm saying is I think the guy is that talented and showed he was that talented, but they didn't get the credit because it was
if you do it at a lower level, it's going to take longer to get credit. You're doing it against nobody.
I know, but he did it for a year. Was it 2 years? Was he there 2 years or just the 1 year? But he did it for an extended amount of time. Now he's done it in 2 games, and all of a sudden there's boom. Now they realize who this guy is. That guy showed the talent. That's why you have to have your eyes open and look all around the country at every level, and that's been proven year in and year out that they will hopefully find those gems. They may not be on the top of the draft board, but they will find those gems.
FCS provides a lot of great players to the NFL. And then you could actually argue the best running back and the best receiver of all time came out of FCS.
Absolutely. Walter Payton and Jerry Rice you're talking about.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
JP, we appreciate it. Make sure to check out Jerry at CBS Sports, CBSSports.com, his latest bowl projections. Follow him on Twitter at JPPalmCBS, and, of course, catch him every Wednesday right here on Sports 56 Mornings. Have a great week. No delays, okay, this week.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do.
Thanks. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue. Dine in, carry out, no contact delivery. Have the DoorDash and the other services delivered to your home or office. It's that simple. You could also have them cater an event, anything that's coming up in your life, $8.99, as low as $8.99 per person for that delicious slow-smoked barbecue. Drove by the other day to my convenient Corky's, and that's on Poplar Avenue in East Memphis. Got myself a lunch special. Absolutely out of this world. Yeah, lunch specials every single day. Party pack starting at just $7.49. And make sure when you pick up an entree, barbecue sandwich, pulled pork platter, catfish plate. That's an award-winning catfish plate, by the way. Get yourself a third of a rack of ribs for just $6.99. Poplar Avenue in Memphis, Poplar Avenue in Collierville, Germantown Parkway in Cordova, and Goodman Road in Olive Branch. And make sure to ask about their private party room, either the Cordova or the Olive Branch location. You got a little birthday party, celebration, anything coming up, you want to reserve their private party room, just give them a call. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue, open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 at 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Memphis football is at home Thursday, September 14th at 6:30 as they face off against Navy for Military Appreciation Game. Enjoy the interactive military equipment set up on Tiger Lane, skydivers during the national anthem, and much more. Tickets start at just $20 to witness the 901's football team in action. Be there Thursday, September 14th, and show a nationally televised audience what Memphis football is all about. Purchase your tickets today at GoTigersGoTix.com.
Start your day the right way at La Palapa with the biggest, baddest breakfast burrito around. Chorizo, cheese, rice, beans, and eggs served with fresh salsa, and it's served all day. La Palapa has daily lunch specials, all served with rice and beans, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Try a torta, breaded chicken, steak, chorizo, or ham served with mayo, avocado, lettuce, tomato, and jalapenos, all in a hoagie. Plus amazing soups and dinner entrees, all at La Palapa, 5255 Summer Avenue. La Palapa, the little hut with big taste.
They're taking care of beerness in Memphis right on the river with Grind City Brewing and all of their great products. Look, this was a dream come true for a father and son duo. And if you have not been to that brewery right on the river, just to the north of downtown, you're really missing something special. And now you can't miss their products. Wherever you go, you see a brand new label. It's clean, it's beautiful, it's distinctive. You'll know Grind City Brewing, and of course you know their products like Poppy's Pills, that great Pilsner, or Tiger Tail, that very creative craft malt liquor. There's the new Thaddeus Amber Lager. That is absolutely a great light beer. There's the India Pale called Godhopper. It's outstanding. And then there's the Belga, the Belgian-style wheat ale. They keep bringing hits at Grind City Brewing.
Get ready for the NFL season with incredible offers from FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Plus, all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Now is the best time to join FanDuel. The app is easy to use. You can bet on everything from spreads to player props and more. So visit FanDuel.com/win and kick off the NFL season with an offer you won't want to miss. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
21 plus and present in Tennessee. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call TN Redline 1-800-889-9789. NFL Sunday Ticket offer ends 9/18/23. No refunds. Terms and embargoes apply. $100 off NFL Sunday Ticket, not YouTube TV. YouTube TV base plan required to watch YouTube TV. Redemption requires a Google account and current form of payment. Commercial use excluded. Subscription renews. Cancel anytime.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Diamonds are forever. Woo!
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Robert Saleh, the New York Jets head coach, met the media yesterday and said exactly what you think he would say, that Zach Wilson is his guy, and they feel very confident in Zach Wilson to lead the way after the Aaron Rodgers announcement that he was gone for the season, lost after a torn Achilles, which happened 4 plays into the game Monday night between the Jets and the Bills. And so names have popped up about the possibility of grabbing another quarterback. You think they would. They got Tim Boyle on the practice squad, and they could activate him, but Chad Henne's name had popped up. Some other names had popped up. Of course, you had the story about Colin Kaepernick's people reaching out. Even RG3, who's on ESPN, basically trying to sell himself as a guy. But I don't think it's any surprise that they're rolling with Zach Wilson, at least for now they are.
Yeah, I'd say the chances of getting somebody better than Zach Wilson, not real good. You know, I mean, the Athletic, I think it was, had an article with like 19 different guys that they had of various, some they're retired, some are free agents, others are trades. Like, could you get a Jameis Winston? You know, they said, could you trade for a Ryan Tannehill? Another one.
Would you want to?
Sports Illustrated had one. Could you? The Titans. People are distributing the Titans quarterbacks. They one had them traded for Ryan Tannehill. One had them traded for Malik Willis. But again, I mean, how much better are you getting than Zach Wilson with any of those guys? I don't. The bottom line is their season. What they hoped their season was is over. They are no longer. The potential of their season is no longer, regardless of what they do, what it was before.
Do you believe, though, that they can't make the playoffs? See, I'm one who still believes they can because of their defense.
I think they might be able to sneak into the playoffs, but I think it's going to be very difficult.
But they're not a Super Bowl contender in your mind anymore.
Because they're the third best team at best in their division now, probably. I mean, I know they beat Buffalo, but let's be honest. I mean, most people tell you Buffalo's better.
Yeah.
Miami's better. I mean, you look at the AFC West, and you're going to say the Chiefs are better than them. You're probably, are the Chargers, Broncos. You look at the, Bengals lost, but Bengals, the South is probably a one-bid league, if you want to talk college terms. But these others have 2 or 3 at least probably that are competing with the Jets as being good. So could the Jets be a 6th or 7th team in the playoffs? Possibly. But again, they're not a threat in the playoffs.
Yeah,
Aaron Rodgers,
he was the missing
Super Bowl
piece.
Contender.
Right. He was the missing piece that they needed to be a legitimate Super Bowl contender.
And then also, like okay, you win a couple more games than you normally let's say they go 8-9 or 7-10 or whatever. Like you missed out on Caleb Williams unless you getting ready to trade everything to go up to get him.
Yeah, but they shouldn't be like in tank mode because they lost, because this still could be a playoff team. I think they're still a good team. I mean, your point well taken that I don't believe they're a Super Bowl contender because you lose Rodgers.
I mean,
they're not a tank team.
Breece Hall looked amazing coming back from his injury.
They got Dalvin Cook,
and
too.
You got Dalvin Cook. You've got Garrett Wilson. Like, there's a lot of good offensive weapons. The defense is really good. They're just not. I mean, Zach Wilson isn't taking you to a Super Bowl. And anybody that you can acquire right now, not going to take you to a Super Bowl over Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen and Joe Burrow and go through the list of quarterbacks you'd have to go through. It's not going to happen for anybody they can acquire.
I would agree with that. By the way, the numbers are in from the Monday Night Football game. You were going over the NFL numbers and how football, just in general, has dominated the TV ratings. It averaged 22.6 million across ABC, ESPN, and ESPN2. 22.6 million for Monday Night Football. All right, one other thing before we head to the break. CBS Sports, top 100 players for the 23-24 NBA season. Listen up, Zach. They have John Morant, number 14, Jaren Jackson Jr., number 28, Desmond Bane, number 42, and Marcus Smart, number 56. You got 4 guys in the top 56 players in the NBA on the Grizzlies. That's strong. Now, again, that's just paper. That doesn't mean anything. But 4 of the top 56 players in the NBA, that's respect.
I like that a lot. I like that.
That's one of the first lists I've seen since everything that went down with Ja, that they've given Ja the proper respect. A lot of people just have kind of casted him off, that, he won't be Ja again. Yeah, he'll be Ja. And number 14, I think, is a good spot to put him at, with a chance to be higher when it's all said and done. Jaren Jackson Jr., top 30 player. Desmond Bane, I think a guy who's moving up on the list as well. So I think that's a respect from the boys and girls at CBS Sports. All right, when we come back, hour 3 of the program, I'll ask DeMichael Cole about that list, and does he believe that that's pretty accurate as far as the Grizzlies are concerned. We'll talk a little bit more around the league of the NBA. What's going on with Damian Lillard? What's going on with James Harden? Plus the horrific news, if true, the alleged incident involving Kevin Porter Jr. and his girlfriend. What may the NBA do about that? We're talking Grizzlies. We're talking NBA with DeMichael Cole to open up hour 3. And then 5 favorite things, your 5 favorite television game show hosts of all time. Get your lists into us at 360-8255 or send it via Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, or sportsmemphis.com, our website. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
A good friend of mine often says that golfers are the best athletes. This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Marks Bensdorf Realtors. Now, I don't want to embarrass Ed by mentioning his name, but if you stop and think about it, he may be right. Just like the best real estate agent may not be who you think. Like a left tackle in football, a golfer hits it hard off the tee. Like a sprinter, the golfer walks down the fairway to reach his ball. Then like a quarterback who wants to connect with a distant target, the golfer hits the ball again, and in my case, again and again and again. So if you or someone you know is thinking of selling a home, draft your team by interviewing the players. Find out who will block that offensive lineman from knocking your deal down. And find out about the Shell Bucks option play. When interviewing, call or email me to find out why people often say, when you want the job done, call Shell Done. You can reach me at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. That's 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. Do it now and don't fumble that ball.
Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair because they just don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance carriers each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. This is why you call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates and consultation and love to assist homeowners with their claims. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, and diagnosing problems is second to none. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. And the best part of all you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, Certainteed, Owens Corning, and even Mulehide. We offer best-in-class warranties on all of our jobs, up to 50 years. When it comes to roofs and restoration, call Metro Builders to schedule your free inspection. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM, your Mid-South sports station.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253 DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Oh, yeah. Sports 56 traffic.
Still dealing with the overturned truck on I-40 East at Warford. The right two lanes are still blocked there. Also, other accidents, 240 West at I-40. The right lane is blocked. And then Sycamore View at Raleigh-LaGrange are your two accidents from earlier. This is your Sports 56 traffic update.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis.
Power is everything.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
It's been a fun 2 hours. It will be a fun third hour, I'm sure. We're going to talk Grizzlies and NBA with our friend DeMichael Cole in just a moment. Then later in the hour, 5 favorite things. The topic this week, your 5 favorite television game show hosts of all time. Get your lists in. 901-360-8255. You can text in on the Sports 56 listener line. You can also send it via Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, or send it to the website, sportsmemphis.com. Currently, 71 degrees, cloudy skies. We're looking at a high of 82 today. Tonight, partly to mostly cloudy with a low of 64. Chance of rain at about 40% tonight. Tomorrow, partly cloudy with a high of 83. Should be incredible weather for tomorrow night's Memphis Navy football game at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. Without further ado, time to talk some Grizzlies with DeMichael Cole.
2 watches, that's 12. Come through and slam on you. I'm in the air.
It's time to talk some Grizzlies basketball. Joining Greg and Eli is DeMichael Cole, Grizzlies beat writer for the Commercial Appeal. Here's DeMichael with Greg and Eli.
We have the pleasure of talking with DeMichael Cole each and every week. He's the Grizzlies beat writer for the CA. You can follow him on Twitter at DeMichaelC. Hey, DeMichael.
What's going on, guys? How we doing?
Doing fantastic. The long summer is almost time for the change of seasons in the fall, and that means opening of training camp. I know you're fired up, man. After a while, it's just you want to get back into the action, right? See the guys.
Man, I tell people that all the time. Like, at some point, I need that structure back, in my life. Like, as someone who, structure is important, right? And right now, there's not much structure. Like, anything can – just things are just happening right now at this point. But once we get to the season, at least I know, hey, this day I'm doing this day I'm doing that. So yeah, I could use that structure for sure.
But you know what, DeMichael? About 4 or 5 months into the season, you're like, damn, I got to go to I got to go to Portland. I mean, come on, I don't want to wake up early and go to Portland. Yeah. It's amazing. You want it, and then you get it, and then after a while, you're like, oh gosh. But it is what it is. It's a great beat, and I'm sure you're excited about. We are excited about this.
We did get a text from Mac who said that right now NBA TV is showing a marathon of Grizzlies games. So if you want to feel like it's season,
that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. And it's like Grizzlies games going all the way back to like the grit grind era. Like they got games on there from way back.
Yeah, he said that the first one, Don Poyer was on the call. The one he was
wow, that's going way back to the legend. All right, so I brought this up in our last segment. I'm sure you saw it. CBS Sports put out its top 100 players projected for the 23-24 NBA season. John Morant, 14. Jaren Jackson Jr., 28. Desmond Bane, 42. And Marcus Smart, 56. 4 of the top 56 is pretty strong.
Yeah, it is, right? And I mean, you can be like, what, Jod 14? But
I'm fine with that. I mean, again,
you're fine with that, yeah.
Right, he'll move up, I'm sure.
That's why I stand. You know, I'm sure when they make those things, they're factoring in the 25 game suspension and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But Marcus Smart at 56 is really good. You know, they're expecting him to be really good. Most projections and rankings that I've looked at have had him kind of in the lower, like close to way closer to 100. You know, we're talking in the 70s, 80s, 90s. So for him to be at 56, you know, they're expecting him to have a really big year. And if he ends up being, you know, the 56th best player in the world, you know, that's, if you do the math, that's
right,
a number two. That's a number 2 on an average NBA team. 30 teams in the NBA. He's the 56th best player in the world.
Good point.
I mean, the Grizzlies win. Like,
what did you think in the end of the Team USA as they end up not even medaling? Now, Jaren doesn't play in the last game when Dylan Brooks lights them up for 39, but what did you think overall as it to coming out of that for Jaren and just Team USA and the failure overall?
Man, well, two different thoughts. Well, with Jaren, I didn't make too much of what we saw. I will say that, you know, the one takeaway that I got that could translate to the NBA is that it does make me more hesitant on the idea that Jaren Jackson Jr. is the future center for the Grizzlies. Mm-hmm. I think, you know, that was a conversation you guys remember, especially a year or two ago, that was heavy around here about the idea that he will eventually transition to center. Right now, just don't see that at the moment. But outside of that, I could care less about, you know, him not averaging a lot of points and everything because, I mean, he didn't even get a lot of blocks. It's simply because he was put in a different position. He was playing the 5 as opposed to, you know, his normal role of playing the 4 and being kind of this roamer who can just block shots from anywhere. He had to be more like in a certain position. He had to play more man-to-man coverage against guys like Vucevic, against guys like Valanciunas, and then that also led to some foul trouble here and there. So overall, my opinion on Jaren is I can't take too much from the performance because he won't play a role like that with the Grizzlies. And then regarding Team USA, it's simple. You look at all these other countries, you know, Australia, France, Serbia, there is like some continuity. You know, all those guys have played together for 10 years. Team USA just says, we're not even going to have tryouts. I think Rudy Gay pointed this out the other day.
Yeah.
And they just say, we're going to select these 12 guys. All right, now, basketball on the floor. Like, if you think about it, it's kind of a cocky thing to do. Like, you just throw 12 guys out there, like, we'll win. You know, just throw 12 guys out there. While these other countries, literally, these guys have been playing together. I mean, think about Spain. Like, Rudy Fernandez has been playing against Team USA since, like, what, 06, 07? Yeah. Like, you know, all the Victor Claver, like, those guys have been around forever. Whereas Team USA, it's like, okay, let's just throw Austin Reeves in there, even though he doesn't have any previous Team USA experience.
Well, let me say this. I think you make a great point. I mean, it's incredibly on point, and I agree with you 100%. Yet you think that we are the best in the world. We have the best players in the world in this country, although we know there are a lot of great players from a lot of countries that are getting better and better in international basketball. I understand that. But The thought is we're going to take these 12 guys, obviously they thought the right combination. I questioned some of the picks, but that's, they know basketball a lot better than I do. So they picked these 12 guys. They have several weeks of practices. Then they have a couple of weeks of exhibition games. You would think if these guys are the best in the world, then basically a month together, they can be a well-oiled machine. And they never were. I didn't like the makeup of the team. I still think, I don't care if other schools or other countries have been together for years and years. I think it's an epic failure when the United States can't even medal.
Yeah, it is. I mean, but look, I'm not taking anything away from the fact that at the end of the day, they had the most talented team, and they should have at least medaled. But we are way past the days where you could just close your eyes and throw the C team out there. Like, Canada is filled with NBA talent. Like, Serbia doesn't have a bunch of NBA talent, but they have really good NBA players, and they have other players who have played together with those NBA players for a long time. Like, when they go into their camp after the NBA season, and when they prep for the Olympics and the FIBA World Cup, they already know how each other plays. With Team USA, it's basically a bunch of guys. Think of a Brandon Ingram. He had to play a role for Team USA he rarely has played in the NBA. Think of all these guys. I mean, most of these guys are used to having the ball in their hand, pick and roll, and now you're going to the corner waiting on the ball to come.
Well, how long has Dylan Brooks played for Canada?
Dylan Brooks has been with Canada since he was like 16.
So he's 15. Played a lot of years with him.
A whole
with them, rather. Yeah, because he exploded, as you know. By the way, he goes for 39. He torches the United States. Give me a quick prediction here. I don't know how many times the Grizzlies and the Rockets play this upcoming season. I want your prediction 4 times. I want your prediction. What will Dylan Brooks average against the Grizzlies points, and what will be his 3-point shooting percentage?
17 points. I'll say 30% 3-point shooting.
Okay.
I think because it's 4 games, I think there's going to be 2 games that are pretty probably moderate, and then it's going to be a game he kind of explodes, does the old trash talk, and then it's going to be that other game.
Okay, 17 to 30%.
You don't think he's going to have the 7 for 8 3-point shooting game that he had against Team USA?
No. That's Olympic Dylan. You know how you have the players, the masked players that have those nicknames? That's Olympic Dylan.
Do you think, along the lines that we're talking about, that LeBron's coming out now, there's the talk that he's contacting guys. Do you think for the Olympics next year, we kind of they kind of put together this current version of a dream team?
Oh yeah. I mean, well, number one, the most obvious reason before anything happened in the FIBA World Cup, my mind is always, I try to think like NBA players now, and a lot of these guys think from a marketing perspective. It's in Paris next year. You want to become a global superstar. Paris is top 5 place to go. And we talk about, Fashion Week is also in Paris, and, a lot of these guys are the NBA and fashion, that correlation. Like, this is a great opportunity for a lot of star NBA players to go make connections, and, Paris is just a place to be. So I always thought that a lot of players would go there. But now, after the embarrassment perspective, and kind of people kind of just threw it in these guys' face. You see LeBron commenting on posts. You see Devin Booker yesterday said, he'll be that guy who can shoot spot-up shots instead of, handling the ball more for Team USA and things like that. So, guys want to play now. And after seeing Canada and factor in that Andrew Wiggins and Jamal Murray and possibly even, Brandon Clark are going to be back for Canada next year, yeah, the boys are coming.
So you still believe, and again, I'm asking you to get into the minds of all these players, but that the passion for the red, white, and blue, the patriotic situation, the win for their country, you still think it's there like it was when MJ and Barkley and all those guys were playing?
It's there, but only for the Olympics. The World Cup, it's reversed. I think someone put it to me like this. In soccer and basketball, the importance of those two competitions are completely reversed. In soccer, the World Cup is end all be all. The Olympics is cool. And whereas with, basketball, FIBA World Cup is used as a stepping stone. You finish top 6 in the FIBA World Cup, you qualify for the Olympics. So Team USA, in a way, it feels like, they throw the B team, the C team, out there for the World Cup, and then, you know, the big boys come out for the Olympics. So I think for the Olympics, yes, it's you know, it's still going to be there, that fire, that passion, especially after what happened. But yeah, I think it's just when it comes to the World Cup, that's pretty much what we're going to be seeing. You know, just a lot of the younger stars participating.
See, I think yes, the Olympics certainly, there's no doubt there. And I think but I also think like right now it's easy for all these guys to go, oh yeah, man, I want to play next year in the Olympics.
Yep.
But then all of a sudden the long NBA season happens, and especially if you make a deep playoff run and you go, well, that Olympic, man, I kind of want my summer off. I kind of want to do nothing this
Rather
summer.
be in the Bahamas.
How many of these guys are going to be willing to commit once the time comes? It's easy right now when you've been fresh off of a summer, like, oh yeah, I want to play next year. I want to see when push comes to shove how many are willing to commit.
Eli, I'm going to take you back to, I think it was 2009, 2010. I don't know if you guys are watching this, but I'll never forget, because I was like a 13, 14-year-old kid, and hearing LeBron James say this, like it was like, wow. So it was at the All-Star weekend. It was in Dallas. No, it was the year before Dallas. But LeBron James, it was Nate Robinson versus Dwight Howard. You know, the crowd was going crazy. LeBron sitting first row. TNT goes up, puts the mic up to LeBron, and LeBron's like, yeah, you can tentatively enter my name, LeBron James, in the 2010 dunk contest. Like Reggie Miller and the whole TNT broadcast goes crazy. They're like, LeBron's going to be in the dunk contest in Dallas next year, and he wasn't in it. So, you know,
talk is cheap.
It's the emotion of it, right? Like it's kind of the wave right now for all the players to say, oh yeah, I'm playing next year. You get all the hype built up and all that.
Right.
But you're right. When someone twists their ankle and has to grind through the NBA season, and it's like, man, the off season may be the only chance they get to get back to 100%. Then yeah, I think, you know, that could very much be the case. But my thing is, the A and the B team for team like of American players is so deep. You take out 6 guys. Like, my point is, if you take out LeBron or Kevin Durant in the starting lineup as your small forward and power forward, you still can throw Jason Tatum in there. Like, it's so deep.
No, there's
like,
no doubt.
You take Kyrie Irving out at point guard, or you can throw John Morant in there, or Darius Garland, or you know, like, you got so many options, man.
Yeah, but I don't want to belabor the point, but I still think when you got Anthony Edwards and Mikal Bridges and the Defensive Player of the Year and Jaren Jackson Jr. and all those guys that play in the NBA, you still should win. All right, couple of more topics before we let you go. I saw your response to John Hollinger, our friend, who tweeted out that maybe the Grizzlies should take a flyer on Cameron Payne. And I think, and I'm paraphrasing, but you said basically economically they can afford it, but because they already got 17 on the roster and they got to cut 2, why add another guy?
Yeah, and that's where I am. You know, like, because if they were to pick him up from the conversation, if they were to pick him up, then you can't use him as like that suspension exempt player as we discussed. Like when Ja misses the first 5 games and then the Grizzlies are able to open up another roster spot, you can't use him as that guy. So basically, it's easy for people to say, but I always say, okay, if everyone says, you know, you want the Grizzlies to go get someone, at this point, you got to say who you're going to take off the roster.
Exactly.
And I think, you know, Josh Christopher right now, just spitballing. You know, Josh Christopher is one guy you can say you'll take off, and Isaiah Todd is another one. And that'll put you at 15 standard contracts. If you go get Cameron Payne, that means if I'm just running through the roster right now, you're not going to let go of Desmond Bain. You're not letting go of Xavier Tillman. Luke Kennard is safe. That means probably between Zaire Williams and John Conchar, you're probably going to have to let one of those guys go, unless you're going to let, Kenneth Lofton Jr. go while your bigs aren't healthy right now, while Brandon Clark isn't healthy and Steven Adams just came off of a big injury. Like, I don't think the Grizzlies are ready to let go of Zaire Williams. And they just signed John Conchar to an extension. Like,
yeah, you're not eating that contract.
Yeah, it sounds good, but in theory, but when you look at the realistic, like, the roster is just too deep with guys that matter to the team. Like, you're not going to part ways with David Roddy and Jake LaRavia yet. Like, it's way too soon. So,
what about, do they technically have 18 guys now because of wasn't it Shaq Harrison they had signed?
Yeah, so Shaq Harrison, his contract, I don't think is a standard contract. It's not a regular standard contract, which is why he can potentially be a player that they use.
Gotcha.
Yeah, in that situation.
Okay. The Kevin Porter situation. Kevin Porter Jr. alleged to have inflicted some serious injuries, including a fractured vertebrae upon his girlfriend. It looks really, really bad. What do you think happens to him? Can the NBA step in right now? Are they just going to let the investigation play out and then go from there?
No way he plays this season. It should be no way. I mean, beyond this one incident, like, and you know, from the Memphis perspective, I think like a Memphian with this stuff, and we think of Ja Morant. Mm-hmm. And it's like, this is completely apples to oranges.
Yes.
Not even, like, we're talking about real criminal activity right here. And remember, this guy was promising in Cleveland, and they had to let him go. Like, Kevin Porter Jr. is a talented basketball player, and to see the Cavaliers at that time when they were kind of rebuilding to have to let go like a young talented scorer just because he couldn't get his stuff together, like, that told me all I need to know. So he already, in a way, was like on his second chance where he kind of had to redeem himself. We've seen things, you know, with Houston, the gimmicks over there, you know, with his attitude and him walking off the floor and things like that. Like, we've seen stuff that's kind of led up to the big boom, and this was the big boom. So I don't think he plays this season, and I mean, you can make an argument that his NBA career should be over. To me, I
don't think there's a chance he plays again. I think he's done in the NBA.
Like he's had too many chances. Like this isn't a one time, you know, thing. Like I haven't seen anyone pretty much say great things about the character of Kevin Porter from the people that I've talked to, like in that Houston area.
He has a track record, unfortunately. He's DeMichael Cole, Grizzlies beat writer for the Commercial Appeal. Read him there. Follow him on Twitter at DeMichaelC. Catch him every Wednesday here on Sports 56 Mornings, and that's all year long. DeMichael, thank you so much. Great stuff.
I appreciate you guys. Take care.
Take care.
This hour of the program is brought to you by Acura Memphis, Ridgeway and 385. Online at AcuraMemphis.com. You can go to the website and get all the information you need on all the different models of Acura that they've got over there, whether you're looking for an SUV, maybe a sedan, whatever it is, they've got all that taken care of. They got a great selection of pre-owned vehicles that you can get the inventory of, including all those certified pre-owned Acuras. You'll find that at AcuraMemphis.com. You can chat with a representative. You can get trade-in value on your current vehicle. You can do all of that on the website. You can also find out about special deals that they've got going on right now and get information on that you can do through the website. But there's nothing better than the in-person experience. You want to go take a test drive. You want to go see those vehicles, feel the Acura difference. You want to talk to the great people at Acura of Memphis. That's what it's all about. Great car buying experience they're going to give you each and every time you go see them. So go by Ridgeway at 385 and see them at Acura of Memphis.
When we come back, it's 5 favorite things, your 5 favorite TV game show hosts of all time. If you want to participate, send us a list. 901-360-8255. Text in at that number. That's the Sports 56 listener line, but you can text in at that number, 901-360-8255. Please number your list. 5 to 1, 1 to 5, doesn't really matter. Also, if you want, you're watching us, you can send us via YouTube or send us your list via Facebook, Twitter, on the website, sportsmemphis.com, at Eli560 on Twitter, at Greg_Gaston. Get your lists in. 5 favorite things is next. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ.
7.
12. What are we playing?
Central Barbecue has 7 different kinds of sandwiches.
Okay, does that seem like a lot?
Are you kidding? 7 may be the most perfect amount of sandwiches. See, they got the pulled pork. You can get chopped on request. Then trim sliced beef brisket sandwich. There's 2 right there.
I'm not sure exactly.
Look, you've also got the pulled chicken, the smoked turkey, the marinated portobello mushroom sandwich.
That seems like plenty.
You would think, but then you also got the smoked sausage and the barbecue bologna sandwich.
You're right. 7 may be the perfect amount of sandwiches.
The people at Central Barbecue are genius.
Hey fellas, Bill Russell here at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, and I've got a question for you. When was the last time you surprised your wonderful lady with something nice for absolutely no reason at all? Not a birthday, not an anniversary, but for no reason other than to show her that you do not take her and all she does for you for granted. For 38 years, we've been helping Memphis men show their ladies how grateful they are to have them in their lives. For special occasions, well, gifts are expected. But a lot of time, the unexpected presents given for no reason other than love have the most impact and say the most to her. Those gifts say you care all the time. The size or the price of the gift is of very little importance. It's the thought you put into it that will make her smile. Come see me, Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers. Let us help you find just the right thing, large or small, that will let her know how you feel. Russell Brothers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. If you need a new roof for your home or business, we hope to hear from you and will work hard to earn your business. We are experts and certified in residential and commercial roofing, siding, and gutter installation. I have been serving the Memphis area for over 20 years, and now with two of my sons working with me, we plan to be here for years to come. So if you need a roof, please give us a call. On a personal note, what a great time it is to be a Memphis sports fan. With the Grizzlies and the Redbirds and 901 FC, not to mention Tigers football and basketball, it's going to be a fun year. Thanks to Coach Silverfield and Coach Hardaway and their staffs for their dedication to the student and athletes, the University of Memphis, the City of Memphis, and us fans. Five Ash Roof Services, a proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis.
Witness the power.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Tomorrow on the program, Kerry Miller will join us in Hour 1 to talk Major League Baseball. By the way, Matt Olson hits his 51st last night. So now Eli, 17 games to play. Olson 9 away from that magical 60 number. He has just been on absolute fire. We'll have the AutoZone Liberty Bowl Inside College Football Hour with Harold Grader, plus our Pick 6, and also the Tiger Football Report as we break down the Tigers and Navy. They'll go at it tomorrow night, 6:30 at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. Time now for 5 favorite things.
I'm Bob. I like a number that's easy to count to. That's why I really appreciate the number 5. You just go 1, 2, 3, 4, and there you are at 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 5 on it. 5. Now you may notice that if you multiply 5 by an even number, your product will end in 0. And if you multiply 5 by an odd number, your product will end in 5.
5 favorite things.
All right, this week's topic, a fun one. Your 5 favorite TV game show hosts of all time. If you haven't gotten your lists in and you want to participate, 901-360-8255. Send it to that number, 901-360-8255, or send it via Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, or send it to the website, sportsmemphis.com. So many different ways to get those lists in. All right, your topic, Eli, so why don't you go first? Zach, second. I'll bat third in the lineup, and then we'll get to the cleanup hitters, our listeners.
All right. I do have to start with an honorable mention. He didn't make my top 5, but I got to give an honorable mention to the WHBQ alum Wink Martindale.
Wink.
Got to give respect to the man who was once on this radio station, and although he couldn't make my top 5, but Wink's good.
I love Wink. I didn't give him any respect, but it's not because he's not really, really good.
Number 5, I go with Richard Dawson from Family Feud. Number 4, going back to my childhood, Jim Perry, who hosted Card Sharks and Sale of the Century. I used to love Sale of the Century.
I do remember Sale of the Century. Jim Perry, that was the guy's name?
Yes. Number 3 is Bob Eubanks from the Newlywed Game. He was awesome on that show. And is that the only thing he ever hosted? Did he ever do any other game shows?
No, I think he did. I think he did.
I feel like he didn't. I think he was just Newlywed Game.
No, I believe he did something else. I'll look it up.
But he was awesome on Newlywed Game. There's no doubt about that. Then the top 2, I think the top 2 are clearly separated from the others in my mind. It was tough to go. I went back and forth on the order of the top 2.
I know what there would be, yeah.
Number 2, I go with Jerry Palm's number 1. I think it was number 1. Gene Rayburn from Match Game. He was fantastic. And then number 1, he is the GOAT, although Gene Rayburn's really close. Maybe they're co-GOATs. Number 1, Bob Barker. They both have, and maybe I have something for the little long skinny microphone because they both Rayburn and Bob Barker use the really long skinny microphone.
Right.
But yeah, I go Rayburn 2 and Barker 1.
So Bob Eubanks, that's who you were asking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so he was he did the Newlywed Game, obviously. He also hosted the successful revamped version of Card Sharks.
That's right. He did end up doing Card Sharks. I do remember that now.
86 to 89.
He did. That's right. I forgot that he ended up doing Card Sharks after Perry.
Yeah, he's still alive. Born in 1938. So Captain Math will tell you he is 85 years old. Good for him. Good for Bob.
My mom.
There you go. All right, Zach, who you got?
So I'm going to start with an honorable mention. And that would be J.D. Roberto from Shop Till You Drop.
Shop Till You Drop?
Is that on Nickelodeon or something?
No.
Shop Till You Drop. I don't know that.
It was on,
Food Channel?
It was on 30.
It was?
Is it like Supermarket Sweep? What is
it's something, it's sort of like Supermarket Sweep, but, it's like once you win, you get, I think it's about, how many prizes or boxes you get from per aisle, and then they kind of tally it up or whatever.
I've never seen that. Supermarket Sweep was a fun show, though.
Yeah.
We can't hear you.
Funny enough, David Rubrick is number 5 for me.
Is that Supermarket Sweep?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
He's number 5.
I could have guessed I would not have been able to tell you who the host of Supermarket Sweep was. I remember watching it, but I did not know the host's name.
Yeah, I used to watch rerun. They would show reruns. I guess on, was it PAX, I think, at the time? So I would see his face a lot, and I was like, oh, this is an awesome show, man. Like, they should keep this going.
Didn't they redo a Supermarket Sweep a few years ago with the black lady?
With Leslie Jones.
Yes,
that's right, yeah.
So he is number 5. Number 4, this is controversial. Bob Barker is number 4.
Wow. That's awfully low. That's awfully low for Bob Barker.
He is number 4 on my list.
Okay.
And I think you will understand why once you get to my top 3. Number 3, Steve Harvey.
Okay.
Family Feud.
Okay. I like him.
Number 2, Julie Chen, Big Brother.
Well, stretching it a little bit.
Yeah,
on
now
that
we're going. That's not technically a game show. In my mind,
that's a reality show.
Because if you're doing that, then that brings in a whole group of guys, people that I would never. That brings in Jeff Probst and the host of The Amazing Race.
Yes,
and like Ryan Seacrest.
Bump Julie and give us somebody else, can you?
Okay.
If you have to revamp the lineup, that's fine. Go ahead.
Okay. So let's jump Steve Harvey to 2. Let's jump Bob Barker to 3.
Okay.
Wayne Brady from Let's Make a Deal at number 4.
Okay.
And then number 1, Alex Trebek.
Okay. So you did not have on your list Pat Sajak.
No.
I do not have Pat Sajak on my list either.
He's great, but it was just boring.
I don't like
he's not on your list either, right?
I don't think Pat Sajak. First of all, I think his is like really simple. Like he doesn't do much. There's nothing to his.
He doesn't do anything for me. Is that sacrilegious?
He says, give me a letter. Like, he doesn't, there's not like a whole lot of ad-libbing with like bringing comedy into it. Like, he just doesn't do much. Like, it's a pretty basic thing that he does.
It feels like a monologue, and it's supposed to be fun.
Yeah, I mean, he's good at what he does, but he just doesn't do it for me. Vanna's more important to me on that
I didn't
show
put Alex Trebek on my list because Alex Trebek was just a little too condescending for me.
See, I knew somebody would say something like
it's like, come on, dude.
Not for me.
Don't act like you know all of this stuff and that you're like,
he probably does.
How dare you not know? Yeah, he does because he's got the answers right in front of him.
Give him some love, man. The guy's passed away. All right, honorable mention for me. You had him on your list, Steve Harvey. He's great. He is so good on fan. And by the way, every time I see Steve Harvey, the more and more I think that Kenan Thompson does an unbelievable Steve Harvey impersonation on Saturday Night Live. Steve Harvey, my honorable mention. Number 5, Ben Bailey from the Cash Cab. Have you ever seen the Cash Cab?
I've never heard of it.
I have seen the Cash Cab.
He ended up stopped doing it, and then somebody replaced him, and I don't know if they have any new ones, but the Cash Cab is really cool. Ben Bailey, number 5, is fantastic. Number 4, Bob Eubanks, the Newlywed Game. Number 3, and I guess according to Eli, this would be low, Bob Barker, The Price is Right, is number 3. Number 2, Gene Rayburn, Match Game is number 2, and number 1 is Alex Trebek. I think between Trebek, Rayburn, and Barker, they're the top 3.
I would not put Trebek in there, and I did not put Trebek in there. Didn't even put him in my top 5.
All right, let's get to our listeners.
Carolyn on Twitter has honorable mention to Tom Bergeron of Hollywood Squares. You had Chuck Woolery who did Hollywood Squares.
You had Peter Marshall.
Peter Marshall.
I would have went Peter Marshall.
How many did? I don't know if did Hollywood Squares.
I think so.
Tom Bergeron, very good though.
He's good. Yeah.
Number 5, Pat Sajak. Number 4, Wink Martindale. Number 3, Alex Trebek. Number 2, Richard Dawson. And number 1, Bob Barker. Listen, Steve Harvey is good on Family Feud.
He's good.
He's not Richard Dawson.
Yeah, but Richard Dawson, man.
He's not Richard Dawson.
As the years have gone by, you think about Richard just like, sucking face with every woman on the show. It's just like, come on now. Try to do that now.
I would put Steve Harvey number 2 on Family Feud hosts. Though I would put him above Ray Combs and whatever the dude from Home Improvement was.
What was that guy's name? Richard Karn, wasn't it?
It was Al Borland on the show. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's Richard Karn.
The fact that he ever hosted Family Feud is so bizarre to me. Like he's just
Ray Combs died, right? Ray Combs.
Yes.
Who was the other guy? Who was the game show host that died in a plane crash?
That was from Press Your Luck. He was Peter Tamarkin. He was very close to my list. He was great on Press Your Luck. Of course, now I don't remember what the girl's name is that does.
He pressed his luck flying that damn plane, didn't he?
Now you got, of course, Michael Strahan doing $100,000 pyramid. I don't remember what the girl's name is that does Press Your Luck. They've got Password back.
Is it Banks? Is it the actress whatever Banks?
Who's doing Password now?
The Password is,
or not Password? Is it Password? No, Strahan. No,
Strahan does the pyramid.
And do they have Password? Don't they have Password back?
Every game's back, I think. Jane Lynch is good on. What was the one?
The Weakest Link.
The Weakest Link. Yeah, she's good.
All right. Where did the list just go now? I just lost one here.
Well, while you're looking that up, I'll give you one. This is from our friend Ray. Honorable mention, Ben Bailey. How about that? Number 5, Bob Eubanks. Number 4, Wink Martindale. Number 3, Bob Barker. Number 2, Alex Trebek. Number 1, Gene Rayburn. So he went kind of with Murderer's Row there.
John, honorable mention to Dick Clark, for the original pyramid.
Yes, he was good at that.
Number 5, Drew Carey. Number 4, Mayim Bialik. Of course, is she the permanent host of Jeopardy now?
I still see Jennings do it every once in a while.
I know Jennings did the Jeopardy Masters thing, but I don't know if
I don't think she's permanent. I don't think so.
Number 3, Alex Trebek. Number 2, Bob Barker. Number 1, Bill Cullen from Blockbuster.
Yeah, and also Bill Cullen did Bill Cullen at one time do Password? I don't know. I remember Bill Cullen was really good.
So Elizabeth Banks hosts Press Your Luck.
Yeah, yes, I thought so. Banks. Yeah,
and
I couldn't remember her first
Palmer
name.
Hosts passwords.
Oh, Keke Palmer does that?
Yes.
Okay, they do have password back. Okay, I thought password was back.
By the way, I'm not a big fan of Drew Carey doing Price is Right. I know he's done it now for a long, long time.
I think he's fine.
Is he all right? I mean, I guess anybody that follows in the footsteps of Bob Barker.
Yeah, I mean, I don't watch a bunch of Price is Right anymore, but yeah, I think he does a fine job. But he is like the nicest dude ever, like to his staff and stuff. Like I respect him because I've heard stories like that dude. He buys people cars. Like he is unbelievable to the staff of that show. From what I've heard, it's crazy how nice he is. Marie, number 5, Richard Dawson. Number 4, Bob Eubanks. Number 3, Pat Sajak. Number 2, Wink Martindale. Number 1, Monty Hall. This one, no name on this one. Alex Trebek, Richard Dawson, Wink Martindale, Bill Cullen, and Chuck Barris from The Gong Show.
What do you think about that one?
I hated The Gong Show.
No, I don't mean that. Is that it's a different kind of show, but I guess it fits into your topic, right?
I don't like. I've watched The Gong Show very few times.
Oh, I love The Gong Show.
I loved it. I watched it a few times. I thought it was dumb.
Gene, the dancing machine. Come on.
They won prizes.
J.P. Morgan.
Like, weren't you competing to win prizes?
You want something weird at the end, maybe like a check for like $4 or something. The whole thing was goofy, but it was so goofy that it was funny, and I loved it. You had the unknown comic.
They like redid that a few years ago. That was just it was like awful. But I thought the original was awful. The Gong Show was just never my thing. I don't know. I thought it was stupid.
They had the unknown comic. Remember the unknown comic? He had the bag over his head, and he had the eyes. I don't even think he had the eyes cut out. He had like fake eyes on there, and he did he goes, impersonation of the Exorcist, and he takes the bag. He just turns the bag around on his head. I mean, it was that goofy that I just loved it. I thought it was so funny.
Doug, number 5, Alex Trebek. Number 4, Peter Marshall. Number 3, Monty Hall. Number 2, Bob Barker, who got as close to 100 without going over.
Yes.
And number 1, Gene Rayburn. Tennessee Tom, honorable mention to Chuck Barris and Jane Lynch. He doesn't have these numbers. Maybe Jane Lynch is number 5.
Yeah, because you're only allowed the one honorable mention.
Chuck Woolery at number 4.
2 and 2. Chuck Woolery, remember that?
Mm-hmm. He's got all this messed up.
Well,
he says Chuck Woolery, Love Connection, and Wheel of Fortune. Chuck Woolery never hosted Wheel of Fortune, did he?
The Wheel?
Who did Wheel of Fortune before Pat Sajak? Did it? Was there somebody before Pat Sajak?
I don't know. I have to look it up.
Tennessee Tom's got so I don't know. He's got 46 people this
year. Chuck Woolery's 82.
He's got
now.
Gene Ray. I'm going to go Gene Rayburn. I'm assuming Gene Rayburn is one.
He did do the Wheel. He was the original host of the Wheel.
Was he really? Okay.
75 to 81.
How about that?
Then he did Love Connection. Then he did Scrabble.
I remember watching Scrabble, and they did
Greed on Fox, and then Lingo on the Game Show Network.
I remember Lingo. Didn't he do Hollywood Squares for a while too?
Doesn't say.
I thought he did Hollywood Squares for a while.
Does not say.
Fun fact. Ryan Seacrest will be taking over as host.
We know Seacrest is doing Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, he's because he needed another job.
He just gotta have another one.
He's 46 was not enough for him job wise. He needs number 47. He's not making nearly enough money right now. All right, so Gene Rayburn, Richard Dawson, Bob Barker, Chuck Woolery, and Jane Lynch. Okay, that's his 5, I guess, with Chuck Barris getting the honorable mention. Let's see here.
By the way, Chuck Woolery also had a musical career, including several advertising jingles and a top 40 pop hit with the psychedelic pop duo The Avant-Garde, and a number of country music releases. Look at the multi-talented Chuck Woolery.
I could swear that he did Hollywood Squares at one point.
Doesn't say it.
Let's see here. Honorable mention, Drew Carey. Number 5, Steve Harvey. Number 4, Monty Hall. Number 3, Bob Eubanks. Number 2, Pat Sajak. Number 1, Bob Barker. Somebody says Big Brother, Amazing Race, Survivor are definitely games. Well, they're games, but they're not they're not game shows. In my definition of what a game, they are reality television contests, is what they are.
I agree with you. I guess we weren't specific, but yeah.
I mean, a game show is a half-hour show. They have new contestants every time. There's a new contestant, new contestants, new contestants. Like, that's a game show. Those are reality television contests. Honorable mention to Richard Dawson, not only for Family Feud, but also for The Running Man.
Mm-hmm.
Number 5, Wink Martindale. Number 4, Bob Eubanks. Number 3, Peter Tamarkin. Number 2, Alex Trebek. And number 1, Bob Barker. This is from Mike in Midtown. First time ever 5 Favorite Things participant.
Nice.
But a 20-year listener.
Thank you so much.
Number 5, Bob Eubanks. Number 4, Bob Barker. Number 3, Dick Clark. Number 2, Alan Ludden of Password.
Okay.
Number 1, Alex Trebek.
You know who Alan Ludden was married to?
I do not.
Betty White.
How about that?
You know who hasn't been named and was originally on my list, and they knocked him off my list to put Ben Bailey from Cash Cab? Regis Philbin. Who wants to be a millionaire?
That was a terrible Regis impersonation.
Yeah, I know.
Don't do that again.
I know.
Let's see. Raider Corey. Number 5, Wink Martindale. Number 4, Bob Eubanks. Number 3, Drew Carey. Number 2, Bob Barker. Number 1, Richard Dawson.
Mm-hmm.
I just said don't do it again.
I'm trying it. I mean, I've done it before and it was pretty good. I'm trying to get it back. Sometimes you lose it.
You've lost it.
Sometimes you never had it.
I would say that's probably the case. Doug says game shows are held in studios, not outdoors. There's another step. Yes, there you go. That's another way to put it. Somebody says now Chuck is selling gold commercials.
Oh, Chuck Woolery?
Is he really? I haven't seen Chuck Woolery in a long time.
Gotta make a buck somewhere.
Should have the collection of watches that he had that he used to wear on the Love Connection when he did his 2 and 2. Let's see. I think I got all the lists there. If I missed any, I apologize going through these here, but I think I got to all of them.
Now, I've never watched those food shopping games that are on the Food Channel or whatever it is. So they aren't in studio, right? They would be in a supermarket. They're not outdoors. Would they still work as far as our list this week? Like if you did one of those supermarket shows?
Supermarket sweep? Are you talking about like supermarket
Is that
sweep?
done in an actual grocery store?
That's a studio. Like that's a
No,
setup.
There's one that's in an actual grocery store, right?
Oh, it was a studio.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, because they still uses the items, but they're like older items. I think somebody did a documentary on it. Like, yeah, they took like all the older meats or whatever, like the turkeys and different things like that, and they'll have it in. I guess they'll have it in studio or in the studio, but it's not being
the older meats, man. What do they get? Rancid meats?
Yeah, it's not being bought. So it just
I know. I'm kidding. All right, we need to take a final timeout. We'll come back, put a wrap on this Wednesday edition of Sports 56 Mornings right here on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
We are Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Purple Wave Auction understands that it takes the right equipment to maximize profits in the field. That equipment is up for auction every week at purplewave.com. Bid on hundreds of items from John Deere, Kubota, Case IH, and more. Our marketplace transparency makes bidding on those tractors, balers, and sprayers safe and easy. Equipment sells to the highest bidder regardless of price. Get started now at purplewave.com. Purple Wave Auction. Straight, simple, sold.
Football is back in full swing with another week of epic games. Who's got you covered on the action for every single one of them? DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Get in on the NFL Week 2 action with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app now. Use the code HERD to sign up. New customers bet just $5 to take home $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. Code HERD, H-E-R-D. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit 1-800 1-800-GAMBLER.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. See dkng.co/football for eligibility, terms, and responsible gaming resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Every business seeks an advantage, whether it's having the best location, hiring top talent, or spotting trends before they happen. And now, the United States Postal Service can give your business a new advantage. Introducing USPS Ground Advantage. Reliable and affordable 2 to 5 day package shipping. It's the advantage you need at the price you want. Get the Ground Advantage at USPS.com/advantage. The United States Postal Service, delivering for America.
Spencer here with ATC Fitness. There's no better time of the year than now. Football and fitness go hand in hand in the fall. And with individual screens on each piece of cardio and multiple big screens throughout the rest of the club, you'll never miss a bit of the action watching your favorite team. ATC Fitness continues to be the Mid-South's choice for fitness, family-owned for 30 years, and proud supporters of Coach Silverfield and the Memphis Tigers. Join online at atcfitness.com. ATC Fitness, exercise your right to look good.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis.
Okay, this car looks great wrapped around you,
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
The body's a temple, that's why we're talking.
I was thinking, I was thinking of John Davidson is who I was thinking of, but I had in my head Chuck Woolery.
Yeah, John Davidson was Hollywood Squares.
When I was a kid and I used to watch it was John Davidson. I think that actually came on either right before or right after Love Connection. So I just had Chuck Woolery in my head in the afternoons when I think I was a kid. I don't remember what years that was.
You know what we should do for a topic one week is the top 5 game show regulars. There were so many cool regulars on Match Game, on Hollywood Squares, on some other ones out there.
Well, I know who would not be on my list. That's Charles Nelson Riley.
Who?
Did you like Paul Lynde?
Paul Lynde was good on Hollywood
Charles
Squares.
Nelson Riley was always on Match Game.
Yes.
And he was
Brett Summer.
He was the one that
Flag.
ruined the show. If there was anybody that ruined the shows, I hated Charles Nelson.
How about Hollywood Squares, like when it first started? Charlie Weaver to block. You know who Charlie Weaver is?
Shadow Stevens.
And
Jim J. Bullock.
Charlie Weaver. Do you go that far back to remember Charlie Weaver? I think he was in the bottom right part of the Hollywood Squares. I believe, this is off the top of my head, that Charlie Weaver is the grandfather of Courtney Cox or something like that. I don't think it was the father. I think it was the grandfather.
Was the ESPN's game show with Tony Regali?
Oh, Tony.
What's that game show? You're talking
Tony
about
Reali.
Are you talking about the
Around the Horn?
Around the Horn?
Yeah.
That's not a game show.
That's not a game show?
No, it's just all they're doing.
Yeah, it was fake.
It's just he gives points away, but all it is a talk show of guys talking about sports.
I'm sorry, Charlie Weaver, whose real name is Clifford Charles Arquette. I think he's the Arquette clan. Yeah, he's the grandfather of Rosanna, Patricia, Alexis, and David Arquette. Not Cox was married to David Arquette.
Grandfather-in-law.
Yeah, grandfather-in-law. There you go.
Folks, Genesis Diamonds. I don't believe Chuck Woolery's over there selling anything. I don't think Chuck Woolery's working at Genesis Diamonds.
Just you wait.
But hey, who knows? I mean, listen, the people who work at Genesis Diamonds, they are great to deal with because they are not commissioned salespeople. So they're not there to pressure you into buying most expensive thing in the store. They're there to educate you and help you find exactly what you're looking for. And they're going to have what you're looking for because their selection is absolutely out of this world. So are the prices as well. The value you get at Genesis Diamonds is amazing. It's a direct diamond importer, getting diamonds from all over the world, from the best diamond cutters with no middleman, plus the selection. All diamond shapes, all sizes, all hand-picked for maximum brilliance. And they don't have to bring diamonds in for you to see. They have them right there in stock every single day so you could see them in person. If you're in the market for a diamond, engagement ring, any fine jewelry, including the pre-owned Rolex watches as well, they've got a massive selection of those. Go check them out at Genesis Diamonds, located in the Poplar Commons Shopping Center. Poplar and Perkins Extended. They're right there in the middle of that shopping center. Go by, see them. You'll be blown away when you go see them at Genesis Diamonds.
Our thanks to Doc Holliday, Jerry Palm, and DeMichael Cole for joining us on the program today. We're back bright and early tomorrow morning starting at 7 a.m. We'll talk baseball with Kerry Miller. We'll have the Tiger football report. We'll break down the Tigers and Navy and the AutoZone Liberty Bowl inside college football hour with Harold Grader and our world-famous Pick Six, all coming up tomorrow. Stay tuned. Waldo and Friends on Sports 56 is coming up next. For Eli Savoy, for Zach Boyd, I'm Greg Gaston. Have a great day, everyone.